Good evening, folks. Welcome back to another Wednesday night live stream, and you're joining me for a conversion clinic this time. Hopefully, I've managed to get the chats working on the screen, so you can see the chats on the screen now. The weird Doom box has also disappeared as well, so hopefully that we kind of have a nice uncluttered screen this time around. So, as the title of the stream suggested, and if you saw my post on YouTube, I am actually going to be doing some feedback, some advice for people who have submitted me their armies. So I did put out a form yesterday. Let's just pop the form back in the chat just to make sure that everyone has a fair look at it. And then I have got quite a few suggestions to get through. I might not get through everything in this evening, but if anything I don't get through, I will be probably just doing another one in the future and just roll over anything I don't get to look at. So let me just grab this URL and pop that in the chat. There we go. So if you haven't done so already, be sure to fill out that form, and I will be taking a look at people's armies in the order in which they submitted. So whilst I give everyone a chance to do that, let's say hello to everyone in the chat today. So we've got a few regulars in here, a few first-time chatters. Hello, everyone. Egner OL Pru P. People make some incredibly hard to read. I'm on holiday and it's 4 a.m, so I'm just here to appreciate other people's models. Thanks for joining the joys of jet lag. I'm good, thank you. It's still warm here in the UK, not as warm as it was on Sunday, so I've got the fan on. Hopefully we'll be stay nice and cool for the stream. It's going to be a little bit cooler going forward as well, but hopefully we're not going to be doing any painting. If I do somehow get through all of the suggestions for the stream, and I've got a little bit of painting we can do as well, so cool. Read it backwards. It's an old handle of mine. Purple orange. Okay, that makes more sense. The stream title and what you're saying makes me feel like I might have filled the form wrong. I mean, if you need to put it through again, Irish Sniper. I actually think you're the first one on. You're the first one on the list. You're the first person to submit your suggestions. So let's have a look at what you submitted. Let's just double check, see if it's got the right plan. No, I mean, by the looks of what you've suggested, it looks pretty much what I would expect. Okay, yeah, I think that looks okay. I've got no models to show, but I'm drawing some Space Marines in the meantime. That's cool. I'm hoping a few of these people haven't even started. A few of the suggestions people haven't even started the projects. People are just looking for pointers. So there is going to be a mixture of things which people have submitted and things that just people want general advice before they move on. Like man 246. Let's see where you are. I can't seem to find you. Have you submitted as a different name? Oh no, I've got you. Yeah, seems okay. Quick comments, we'll get to it. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read out some of the suggestions. If people have provided images, I'm going to put those up in the stream. So most of it's going to be face cam, this stream. So yeah, you get to see this. So yeah, we're going to be having a quick look. Again, if you haven't already, be sure to just drop in any suggestions you haven't done already. If there's any quick questions, I might answer those in the stream as well. But most of the focus is going to be on this. So let's get started with the first. So hopefully, let's get this up. Okay. So the first one that we have here, let's move this over here so I'm not looking at it. Right. Okay, so the first one was from Irish Sniper 136. And you're looking for a 40k single miniature project, and you're looking for a unique scars and cybernetics for a character. And I hope you don't mind me reading out these. I didn't actually ask people, but I assume that with me saying things will be read out. So you're making a character who has most of the face burned off and is missing some of the facial features. You want to represent this in the model and need some advice on how to go about it. You're planning on him having 2 cybernetic eyes, cybernetic jaw, a missing nose with cables running into the nostrils, and with extensive burn scars over his head. So you've got some pictures for inspiration. Right, let's grab those images. Copy that. Open Firefox. This is just not as straightforward as I wanted. Okay, cool. So let's switch over to Firefox Interface. What's going on there? I think I've messed up my scaling. There we go. That's better. Perfect. Okay. So you've got a couple of images that you've suggested here. That's the first one. And the second one is, I think, this one. Yeah, so the second one is this one. Okay, so yeah, you've got quite cybernetic heavy builds going on both of these. So you're probably going to be looking at trying to get as much as you can out of a Iron Hands miniature, something like that. That's what you're probably looking for the basis. There are lots of cybernetic heads that you can use. Maybe even some on the. Let's check out Forge World. So Forge World have those Horus Heresy heads. Might be something you can use as a basis in there. Goldsmithers, thank you very much for your subscription with Prime. Much appreciated. Pastor Suit Boy, yeah, I mean, if you can just pop in any suggestions. If you've got anything in particular, the quick questions like you've put in, that's fine. So have you ever considered to have to do a Lamenter's Blood Angels conversion? Not really, no. I mean, Blood Angels, yeah. Not so much Lamenters. I know the people, it ends up being quite popular. Sorry, I'm about to sneeze. It's hay fever. The pollen count's incredibly high at the moment. Right, so which chat? Where were these under? Were these under? Let's just search heads. There we go. So there's 2 sets of these heads. That's this one and this one. So we've got these heads, so you're looking for 2 cybernetic eyes, which is probably where the problem is going to be for getting both of those. I mean, you've got these kind of heads here with the single cybernetic eye and single cybernetic eye. And then this one here is quite heavily cybernetic. If we check out the Iron Hands upgrade sprue again. Yeah, so even these got kind of the masks on them. So yeah, removing the actual nose would be fairly straightforward. I've actually seen people who've done those kind of things. So you can probably use that quite easily. But if you're going to want something a lot with an iron jaw like this, it's probably going to be quite difficult to do without doing a little bit of sculpting. But you could possibly use something like this as a basis. But it's going to be a very fiddly task. It's not impossible, but it will be quite fiddly. So hopefully that answers your question. Yeah, quite succinct on that one, really. Fairly straightforward suggestion. I'd maybe go with this one. You might be able to drill out this right eye here, put something in like a little bit of plastic rod into the eye, just going to give it that second cybernetic eye. Yeah, hopefully that's okay for you. That was from, just go back to face. So that one was from Irish Sniper 136. So, apologies. The next one is Morgan. Morgan is one of my Patreon supporters and a very regular poster in my Discord as well. And I actually think I added in the little chat command. So I think if you do !mark Discord, it should actually pop up this time. A few people have done it in the past and it's just not done it. So hopefully it does work. But our wonderful moderator for the stream, Yankee, has actually put this in as a pinned comment. So yeah, you should be able to find that. Make sure you join the Discord if you haven't already. Anyway, there you go. Perfect. Works. So Morgan, right. So Morgan is looking for a single 140k miniature and looking for an Emperor's Champion to Khorne Champion conversion. So originally this was for another project that fell through, but the reveal that some of the Black Templars got hit with the murder curse, I decided to revive the project as an actual corrupted Emperor's Champion. I'm not entirely certain where else to go with it. Now, the chain on the axe has since been removed, so I can replace it with a thinner chain. So I believe you have some images for me. Let's get those ready. Okay, right, let's get this up on. Bear with me 1 second. Let's just adjust that before I switch over to it, just to make sure that everything's cool. We've got it. Right, okay. So if we go to Firefox Base. Cool. So this is what you've got so far. You have the basis of an Emperor's Champion, and you also have another shot there. So you've got this corpse being dragged along, this Primaris corpse. Is this the axe from the Fafnir run, I believe? And yeah, so that's the main thing. You've gone for the chain as well, super glued chain, and there's a few skulls down here and another chain around the wrist. Okay, so what was it that you wanted me to check for you again? So to revive the project, not sure where else to go for it. So you're looking for something that's Black Templars, still obviously visible as Black Templars, but is also Khorne corrupted as well. Okay, so let's have a quick look on the Games Workshop web store. I already got it thumbnailed there. And we're going to have a look on here. And we're going to check out the Black Templars. Space Marines. Black Templars. So I'm guessing that you already have plenty of these to hand. Oh God, of course the upgrade sprue isn't just on the first page, or maybe it was, I just completely missed it. But yeah, what I'm thinking really is to go for a basis of, there we go, perfect. So that's the Black Templars upgrade sprue out of stock, what a surprise. And then let's look for the Emperor's Champion model. Okay. So that's a fairly generic kind of helmet that we have there. Nothing too fancy about that one. So what my thinking is to go for this helmet if you have it. It would be probably good to use this as a basis, and then from there grab yourself some Khorne parts, probably Khorne Berserkers, nope, 40k, Armies of Chaos, World Eaters, oh, these are out of stock as well. Everything's out of stock, right? So a very careful clipping. You want to remove some of the bunny ears from one of these Khorne Berserkers, and you're probably going to want to place it onto this helmet here. That's what I go for personally. I think that's going to be, it's going to give you a nice healthy mix between the two. So you're going to have that Black Templar vibe, but then you're also going to lean into the Khorne aspect as well. The Fafnir Rhine Axe is a good choice. Obviously, Imperial Fists are the progenitors of the Black Templars, so that's a perfect option. Let me just check. So yeah, I think that's probably going to be a good option to go for, at least with the head. In terms of what else you have, let's see look at these models again. Okay, so we have Backpacks and play. Shoulder pads. Is that the original shoulder pads that you've gone for? No, you've gone for a... Looks like a... It's not a Mark III shoulder pad, is it? That's slightly different than the Mark III has the ridging around the bottom. Is that the Fafnir round one again? It's hard to say. But yeah, to be honest, I think what you need to do, it really is go for the head, and then you need to put something on the back here. That's what you really need to... I know, yeah. Imagine the Zerkers not being in the front and centre of the catalogue or bringing up World Eaters. They really should do. It's the same with the Black Templar stuff. Whenever you open up a faction-specific item on the web store, it should literally be all the faction-specific stuff first, and then everything else, all the generic stuff as well afterwards. Anyway. Right. So yeah, go for a... I think they were riveted Templar pads with the symbol removed. Yeah, I can just about see that you've got some sort of symbol removed there. A little bit of scraping action as well. Yeah, so that's my advice. You don't need much there. You've already got a really good start. Don't worry about going too heavy on it. A colour scheme will bring a lot of it back. Yeah, so... I think you've already removed any purity seals, anything like that. Perfect. I've closed things. So yeah, you want the Black Timber upgrade helmet, and then you want the bunny ears on top, and then for the backpack you need some spikes. You need something on there which we can use. Is there anything in this kit that we could use instead? It's a pretty good symbol. That might work. Alternatively, if the backpack isn't completely immovable, you could always just attach one of these Khorne Berserker backpacks. They're quite nice. Lots of skulls on there. What else have we got in here? Do you think we could maybe look at 8-bound? No, not Thousand Suns. World Eaters. There we go. Even the backpack spines from the Terminators would work pretty well for this. Probably not the 8-bound. The 8-bound probably wouldn't work. I don't think you really get enough. But yeah, I think you can probably go... You could do something really good there with just a head and a little bit of backpack detailing on there. Should be fairly straightforward. Hope that helps. If you have any quick questions, whilst I just check the chats, and feel free to drop those in if you want me to elaborate on anything. Warcries the Unmade has some brilliant Gribblies for Chaos. Yeah, that might be actually an option. Let's have a look. If they're in stock, that is. Warbands. There's so many warbands now. Yeah, so the Unmade are... I mean, I really like this kit. It's a really nice kit for these kind of like spikes, chains, things like that. Yeah, you could probably pull something from there. Lots of these like chains and things would work. But I mean, if you've already got Khorne Berserkers anyway, then go for it. You can probably, even if you don't use them for this particular project, then you can always obviously use them for a lot of other stuff as well. Cool. That was a good suggestion. Where have we got? So... Also, even the generic icons from the Chaos Space Marine Legionaries, just not the Eye of Horus one yet. Anything which is spiky, Khorne marked, anything. I think even if you've got some Chaos stuff from Age of Sigmar, even that would work nicely. No, generic. Where are the generic Chaos? Sometimes I do find this web store's a little bit tricky to work. Yeah, so there's that one. Obviously, the eye wouldn't really work with this one, but I think there is. If someone said there is another symbol in there. Yeah, so that particular one, the Chaos one, would work. It is Chaos Undivided symbol though, so it might not be as good. But yeah, cool. Right, are we allowed to submit more than one request? You can do, yeah. If you submit another request, though, we'll just go to the end of the queue. So they might not be grouped. I might do one and then another one later on when I get to it. So I'm actually doing all right. I'm looking to do about, if I can do one every 10 minutes, then that should get me through the whole thing nicely. Let me just open up the Twitch stream here just so I can make sure that I don't start speaking during an ad break, because that would be one pointless giving people advice. Right, okay, so let's go back to face and way back on face? Yes, we are. Perfect. And let's have a look at the next suggestion. So the next suggestion comes from, well, the next request comes from Goldsmithers, who very kindly subscribed earlier on in the stream. Thank you very much. So you are looking Warhammer 40k, as are most of these requests, and you're looking to do an army. So that's going to change things. But the reason why I asked whether or not you're doing a single squad or an army is because obviously my suggestions should be catered towards that. If you're doing a single one-off model, then you can go a bit heavier on the conversion work. It's not too bad. But if you're doing a full 2,000 point army, then if I tell you to buy a kit for like one component like I did with the Chaos Space Marines, then it's not quite as feasible across a larger army. So I'm going to be looking at maybe some smaller ideas that we can do. Okay, so your request, Goldsmithers, was converting Gene Stealer Cult Abominants into 40k Skaven Cheese Stealer Cult Abominants. Okay, so I am making Skaven Gene Stealer Cults, and I'm having a hard time figuring out how to make the Abominants look Skaven. For mostly everything else, I am following your 40k Skaven video, like with the Neophytes and the Acolytes, just a head swap, some fur, and removing the extra arms and Tyranid looking bits. Cool. Okay, so what we're doing is we're going to be looking at, so I think you've got some images already for me. Let's grab those up. Let's get those ready. I've just copied and pasted the first one. Okay, cool. So we've actually got some pretty good images here. Right, are we allowed to submit one request? What's the advice for earning a follow back on Twitter apart from being cool enough for it to happen by our luck? If you put any cool content up on your stream, then I usually give everyone a follow. Obviously, I end up with, it's very difficult to get kind of to curate your stream sometimes, because sometimes you want to give everyone a follow, but then some people follow you and then don't necessarily post any work themselves. So it's kind of finding that nice balance between the two. Right. Are you the cheese stealer guy? I don't know. Are you referring to me, or are you referring to the person who submitted? Because there's a few cheese stealer people. So I'm the person. I did some space Skaven conversions, and then someone else did an actual 3D printed sculpted force. I always forget the name of the person. And yeah. Person, sorry. Right, okay, so let's go for your suggestions. I've got one of your pictures up already here. Really nice little is it the Achilles Ridge Runner, this one here? So yeah, you can see how you've gone for the basis of the Gene Stealer stuff, and you just pop some Skaven stuff on there. This is is that one of the crew members at the back? Yeah. So yeah, you've got the pretty much the basis of this already down. Okay. So, Abominants. Let's grab this up here and check out the Gene Stealer Cults. Xenos Armies, Gene Stealer Cults, and then we'll open another tab, Age of Sigmar. Let's go Chaos and Skaven. So my immediate thoughts are the scale. So Abominants are slightly bigger, if I remember rightly. So you're going to be looking for something which is slightly bigger as well. The regular Skaven heads might not work. Initial thoughts are the Rat Ogres, but the sculpts aren't great anymore. They haven't been great for a long time. These are pretty old kits now. So, trying to think of another option. There is a better Rat Ogre. There's this one here, but I don't think that's like a separate head, if I remember rightly. There's a sprue one here, of course it isn't. Yeah, so I don't think the head is a separate option, if I remember. It might well be, but it might not be a simple head swap. And obviously, you want to do quite a few. This isn't really going to be working for doing several heads. So Rat Ogres, they're not great, really. They're a bit dated. The actual Skaven aren't too bad, but the Ogres are a little bit meh. Storm Fiends, yeah, that's a good suggestion. That's the... let's go back to the main page. Storm Fiends. Have I got that far? Have I gone past them already? Yeah, I've gone past them already. Those Night Runners. These Night Runners are ancient. I'm surprised these are still going. I mean, even these. One thing I keep getting reminded to do is to update these Scryer Acolytes, because it's like, I think you can run like a unit of 10 as a battle line in Age of Sigmar, and then if you wanted to, it's like 13 quid for like one miniature. It's ridiculous. Right, I think I might have gone past them already. So yeah, okay, so we've got these guys, and now I haven't built this kit for such a long time. I can't remember exactly how many heads you get in here, so it's going to be difficult to, again, yeah, it's hard. I do have a 3D printer if it comes to that, but I was hoping for GUO plastic. Yeah, I understand it's easier to work with Genji plastic. I'm just going to snooze. I tell you what, I'm just going to run this next ad, and whilst I have a think, and then we're going to have a look. We're going to have a quick chat with anyone who's a subscriber and viewing as well. So I'm going to run this ad now, and I'll have a think whilst we wait. Okay. Yeah, so this is the thing with Abominants. You have a scale which is slightly bigger than the regular kind of people. It's not too big though. It's not huge. Everything else about them would be okay. You could get away with just painting these as fleshy bits, mutations, things like that. It's getting this head right, which is going to be the biggest problem. There are some Stormfiend heads on. Okay, so I think we're in the ad now anyway. So I'm not gonna mention too much, but Stormfiend heads on £4 on eBay. Yeah, Current Skaven is like destined to turn up in the old world's promo photos. Yeah, it is. It's going to be a case that some of these old miniatures are going to be turning up. I would hope that they would get a cross release, because it just seems to make the most sense. If you have a Skaven in Age of Sigmar, you have Skaven in. Well, actually, the thing is about the old world. If I remember reading rightly reading, Skaven aren't going to be featured in it. If I recall, there's a kind of a bit of a blurb about. I mean, things could change over time, but their initial focus on the setting was that the Skaven underworld is kind of in a big civil war, so they're not really showing themselves on the surface as much because they're just kind of too busy infighting. So I think that's their excuse for not putting Skaven in the old world, but that might not be permanent, so we'll see. Yeah, this is a tricky one. So just wait for this ad to finish before I kind of go any further with my ideas. Right, okay, so welcome back everyone. On second thoughts, the Rat Ogre heads are a good option, but they're a little bit harder to get hold of for the number that you would need. But you might actually be able to get away with just putting regular Skaven heads on them, because it might actually add to that abomination look if they've got like really big bodies and tiny heads. Because if you look at the Stormfiends, if you look at the scale of the heads, I mean, if you actually counted how many heads high this whole torso is, it's like probably at least 10 heads high. So you could probably get away with a similar scaling here, and it probably would look okay. So, what else did you ask for in your suggestion? Figure out how to make the abominations look scathing, so just heads up some firm moving extra arms and turreted looking bits. Yeah, so heads, just use normal Skaven heads. I reckon you could probably get away with that. Maybe if you wanted to just make them a little bit more imposing, a bit bigger, maybe use some Stormfiend heads. That would be a good option. Fur, again, you're probably going to need fur, but what I would do is, if you really want to lean into a kind of abomination look, You could go for this kind of patchy fur look that the other Skaven units have. So you can see how we've just got like rough patches of fur. Not the Emperor's Champion. And if I can find, there we go, perfect. The Hellpit Abomination. The other option is this. This has got quite a few heads, but I'm like, you can see all these little heads there. You could maybe use some of those, but £42 just for like one unit's worth. You get lots of nice bits and stuff you could use there, I guess. So it's really up to you. But yeah, if you going back to what I was saying about the, sorry about the spin. Where's the 360 shot? There isn't one. Oh look, there's a cool little mechanical arm. I never noticed that before. That's quite a cool little feature. Might have a keep that in mind for a future video, maybe. Yeah. So I think regular Skaven head, fur to cover up the more obvious Tyranid bits. Maybe even add some claws to the feet as well if you can, just to kind of remove it from that human look. You can get away with it a little bit more because it is obviously strongly mutated. These feet would be okay, these feet would be okay, that foot would be okay, but this one's a bit more human-like. So yeah, that would be my suggestion for that. You shouldn't need to do too much. Again, try to keep it fairly straightforward if you're doing a full squad of these or multiple squads of these. So the only thing I think of for these is to like replace any talons with the Night Runner claws. Heads wise, anything I can think of is like merging two Plague Monks heads because they're cloaked. You could sculpt the cloth together as something I would do for everyone, but maybe the leader model. Do they have a leader? I don't even know. GC the core rules. Yes, I think these guys have a leader. This guy here with the sign is a slightly bigger leader, if I remember rightly. Vaguely. Goldsmithers, I've been mainly using the pipes and picks and stuff, but I do like the Plague Monks idea. I need to pick up a box for the heads already. Yeah, I think that's probably the good way to go. Keep it quite simple. If you're happy green stuffing's fur, then just go for that. Use that to cover up. Most of these mutations look quite good for Skaven anyway. So yeah, I hope that helps. Yeah, cool. That's 3 down. 30 minutes into the stream. We're doing we're on a good run today. Right, so let's go back to the face cam and let's check the next one. Okay, this one is from Josh. Now this one is a different suggestion. Forbidden Psalm. That's interesting. I've not heard of that one before. You're looking for advice on painting creepy whitish skin for a cave-dwelling monster that isn't all white and grey. Would oil washes work? So you're looking for this from Monster Creation Contest. Okay, so what's this Forbidden Psalm? Let's have a look at that. Is that a miniatures range? Forbidden Psalm is it Psalm? Yeah, isn't it? It's a tabletop miniatures game inspired and compatible with Mork and Borg. I'm guessing those are the rule sets. Forbidden Psalm is 28mm miniatures agnostic game. You can use any miniature you already own that fit the bill, or you could build custom minis for this game with random tables to help you determine how to build them. That sounds pretty cool. It actually sounds a lot like the stuff in the Realm of Chaos books, the ones that I've got here. They had like Chaos Champion Generation. That's pretty cool. I've always liked the idea of doing some sort of monster creation or demon prince creation using one of those. So yeah, that's an option. This sounds pretty cool. Interesting. Okay, so you're looking to paint. Quite a different suggestion, actually. Normally I ask for conversions, but I do appreciate any other advice that people may need. Okay, so what you're looking for is something that is white and kind of albino-ish. Did you provide any... Oh, yes, you did. Right. Okay, so you've got your monster already here. That's quite... Is this a custom build that you've done? Let me just get that ready. Copy. Squeaky on. Okay. Right. So this is the miniature that you've done. That's horrific. That's absolutely... It's a great job when I say horrific. The monster look of it is horrific. I'm guessing you've probably used a mixture of toys there. It kind of looks like some sort of like Basilodon thing, like some sort of a dinosaur toy, and then some other creature. I don't even know what that is. Maybe some plasticard spikes that you've added onto this weird crab thing. So what you're going to want to do when painting white, it's always easier to start at white and then work your way down with the colours. I can see obviously you've got a few colours there already. Do you have access to an airbrush? That's the first question. If not, you can basically just use a Replicam primer, just get a white base coat there, and you can start building down. You can even use the original black base coat. That I think it looks black to me. It could be brown as well. You can then spray over that, use that to kind of get those deeper recesses and details. Looks like an ankylosaurus body and some mouse crocodile head. If you're thinking about oils, maybe a blue wash, just not the expensive blue. Some oil paints get pricey, they do. Yeah, this is really nice kind of miniature that you've got here. Yeah, so I think you're going to want to start white. If you want to do oil washes, you're going to want to work your way down from a lighter colour. I'm not sure if you have any experience with oil washes. They can be a bit tricky because obviously you have to use proper thinners and things like that. You don't have to varnish your miniatures first, but a lot of people do recommend it just to kind of protect the thinners, stop the thinners from breaking down your primer layers that you have already down. But yeah, if you could get started off with a white, then you could maybe do some oil washes. If you didn't want so you said that you didn't want let's go back to your suggestion. A creepy whitish skin for a cave-dwelling monsters that isn't just white and grey. Okay, so what you want to do then, in my opinion, that is obviously just my opinion, is you're going to want to maybe add some nice pinks and reddish tones in there. You're going to make it want to look like, let's have a look at this. Let's see if I can find what I'm thinking about. I know exactly what it is I've got in mind, and it doesn't really fit the monster bill, but the colour is kind of perfect. So let's get this image up. Is there a higher quality one than that? Okay. What you're going to want is, you're going to want something like that, in my opinion. That's what you want. You want something which is kind of looks like it's been in the depths of a cave and doesn't really see much light, so it has this kind of pinkish, purplish hue in the recesses, but then also gets lighter as it moves more towards the extremities. Beady black eyes. You could even go over it with like a nice gloss primer as well, just to bring out the glossiness of the surface, give it that kind of almost translucent see-through look. That's what you could do. But yeah. So yeah. It sort of looks like some strawberry yogurt. Yeah, so I think that's what you kind of want to go for. I think anything which is like, let's see if we can find some more. Deep sea fish. A lot of these tend to be quite see-through, but all very black. But every now and again you get like white ones. Goblin shark, that's a good one. That's kind of like another one, which is that weird looking creature. I don't think that's real, but that's kind of like gets the idea of. Okay, this one is open image, new tab. Let's grab that, drop that in here. So yeah, anything like this I think would work quite nicely. These kind of, you could start off white, and you can either use regular washes. You could even use things just like contrast paints, things like Doomfire Magenta, Volupus Pink. If you thin them down enough and do thin layers over the whole model, and then you can target them as it gets stronger and you use less medium to thin them out, you can target them directly into the recesses, and that'll help to build up this kind of coloration that you see here. You could then move on to darker purples or deeper reds like Flesh Terror's red. Yeah, so that might give you a nice idea. But yeah, you want to keep it really pallid and pale, make it look really disgusting. Give it black beady eyes, anything like that. So yeah, that's what I would go for if you're looking to do some sort of deep sea monster. Now, have I seen Josh in here? I don't think I have seen Josh in the stream. Maybe you are in the stream and you just have a different name than the one you've provided. But that's fine. If you... Let's wait for him to return. Cat in a Box. I'm looking to kitbash a Tiberus. What do you suggest as a base mini? So Tiberus the Red Wake is something which is very, very, very much suggested quite often. Often suggested. With good reason. Very interesting character. I have seen lots of different uses for him. I've seen plenty of people use it for Abaddon as a basis. Kind of remove as much chaos iconography as you can. You get that size and that scale. And obviously he's wearing Terminator armor. I mean, I don't know if the new Space Marine Terminator Captain in Leviathan would be a decent enough scale. He's quite big. He is big, but then if that's like the baseline scale for Terminators in the future, probably not going to be too big compared to other people. So yeah, Abaddon seems to be the most common use. And if you have a look online, most people have used that. I think even a few people in a few of my patrons and people on Discord have done that already. So yeah, that's where I go for that one. Right, who else have we got here? Yeah, so there is a form. If it's a quick question, I don't mind quickly answering it. But yeah, so Calgar is a little bit too small. Any regular Space Marine is going to be too small. You're going to be looking at Chaos just to get the scale. They tend to be a little bit bigger. Right. Next. An idea I've had for a while about Tiberos would have been the Forge Wheeled Perturabo model, but well expensive. Yes, so the Primox would work as well, but again, very expensive. Tricalgar seems a little small. Yeah, I've already mentioned that one. Cool. Right, let's see who is next. Four suggestions, 40 minutes. We're making good time, folks. Hopefully we can keep this going for the rest of the stream. Might get sidetracked. Next up, we have Arachon Bravestorm. Single miniature, Warhammer 40k. What kind of elements should I add to my Ursula Creed to read as Traitor Guard, other than scraping Aquila's off the armor? I'm trying to make Lord Castellano's Creed mod to fit my Traitor Guard and want her to be unique. Okay, so we're back to 40k. We're back to my comfort zone for this one. Right, Ursula Creed. Let's get that up. Let's get that up in here. Oh, you've actually given some images. Let's open those up first. I think these might just be the original model. I can't quite tell here. They've come out quite small, unfortunately. Yeah, they've come out quite small, unfortunately. They don't seem to be showing me much detail. So looks like you've already made a start. I mean, you've already kind of assembled the miniature. So let's see what we can do from here. Let's see where we can go. Right, let's get up. Let's get the original model up so we can have a look at it together. So you want to go to Armies of the Imperium. Let's have a guess at which page she'll appear on. Will she appear on like the 6th page, or will she be on the 1st page? Don't think she'll be on the 1st page. No, 5 pages. I was close to the guess. Okay, there we go. 2nd page. Right. Okay. So this is the original model. Based on the pictures you sent, I could see that you'd basically assembled the base already, and you assemble this miniature. So that does limit things a little bit. It makes it a little bit harder if things have already been constructed. But I personally would look at swapping out that head straight away. That seems to be the most obvious first port of call. So what else have we got there? We've got these eagles. You can keep those on there. They don't necessarily have to be there. These are actually Aquilas as well, this one. You don't have to get rid of them. You can kind of keep them. It's not a problem as long as you kind of go heavy on the chaos stuff elsewhere. Let's look at the sprue. She has got a swappable head, so you can see the head just there. We'll zoom in on this work. You see the head there. So that's a swappable head. Looks like it's got some sort of rough ball joint. You can possibly swap out something. Let's see what we can swap it out with. 140k. Armies of Chaos. Chaos Space Marines. Chaos Cultists. Is there any nice heads you could use in here? So one of these could be used. Very chaotic. Very straight to the point. I believe these are a little bit tricky because they kind of come separate. They don't come separate, sorry. They come as part of the torsos. What else do we have? There's the Blooded Kill Team. They might have something in there. Okay, Kill Team Blooded. Yeah, you're going to be looking at Imperial Guard forces. These all tend to... I mean, you could get away with some of the mask heads, maybe. That would work. Yeah, there isn't anything which is a straight up decent replacement. There might be on the sprue, I'm not 100% sure. If I had a sprue handy, I would have a look for you. A lot of these suggestions I'm doing live as well. I've purposely not looked at a lot of these just so I can go through the process of coming up with an idea with you rather than just being like, this is the idea next, this is the idea next. Corridor heads would work. Asher Death Maidens have nice minis. They do, yeah. So the next, probably, there are still some in 40k maybe. Is there? I don't think anyone else has got any human things. World Eaters work, actually. If I remember rightly, one of these heads might work. Yeah. These heads might work. I know they're kind of specifically Khorne, but they don't have to be. They can be a little bit more generic. Yeah, that head would work really nicely, personally, in my opinion. That particular head. And then if you have any, you could probably use these for representing Traitor God. If you were building it out to an army as well, you could make use of these for other parts. Look at all these chainsaws that you get in this kit. I never actually realised how many there are in there. I do have this kit. But yeah, that's an option. As the chat has suggested, there's also Necromunda. Necromunda always got fantastic options for heads. So you've got the Death Maidens here. That would be a good one. That's quite a nice head there. This one, not so much. It looks good, but it's not quite as... It'd be interesting if you're going for like a specific aesthetic, but maybe not. Have we got a close-up of the other one? No. This particular one would be good, in my opinion. Pastor Suit Boy, I don't want to tell you how to run your channel, but I think you should have more emotes. I know, it's just one of those things where I kind of get to a point where I can add more emotes, or I can be working on a video or prepping for a stream or something. So I thought, well, I'll do the other stuff, but I will get around to it, hopefully, eventually. Fingers crossed. We'll get there. For this, I'd do a tallish Amazon type figure wearing the coat with eagles on. Headwise, long bushy red hair with a bone pin or something of that, in my opinion. Cheeky chain axe with a ball and chain combo. Right, so what else is there? Blood Bowl? Is there something in here we could use? This is the Amazon's team. I mean, this would actually wouldn't necessarily be a good idea. You could use this for generic Imperial Guard conversions. You don't have to use it for Chaos, but that's just a little bonus extra. Yeah, they're not quite as not quite chaotic. You could probably lean it into that vibe if you wanted to. There is the Norse team as well. This one, does this have any female heads? Yeah, but again, not super chaosy. Kind of leaning into that generic kind of fantasy Viking theme there. Maybe the head of a Dark Oath War Queen with the horns removed and replaced by a spiky helmet. Yes, I haven't got into... There's a lot of options in here. You've obviously got Tzeentch. No, Karakaka heads for Tzeentch, so maybe not great. Slanesh, there's loads of heads you could use. Maggot King of an Eagle, too big. Generic Slave to Darkness. I think there are even some female heads in the Chaos Warriors kit, if I remember rightly. There might even be one on the web store. Yeah, you could use that head. That head would work really well. Lots of heads in this kit you could use. They scale quite nicely as well. I use one of the Chaos Warrior kits on like an Astra Militarum scale miniature, so that works quite nicely. Circling back to that earlier burnt cybernetic face request, Rex Spire's Necromunda has the perfect face. If you don't mind the beard, just add another eye and you're perfect. Rex Spires. Is that one of the specialist characters, the Forge World Resin ones? Dome Runner from Forge World, the Gunner from the Sisters of Battle. Sisters of Battle Organ Tank has a really nice... Yeah, it's got a really kind of cool head. That's a pretty cool model, actually. That'd work. It might be a little bit too big, though. Possibly not. It's hard to say with those kind of things. The Underworld Social Darkness group has a nice lady. Don't know if the sprue is available. As viable as it's lots of easy build. Or the Flamer Tank, can't really remember. Yeah, I think it's the Organ one, if I remember rightly. Yeah. So yeah, lots of options there, really. If you want to go for a head, I kind of just got sidetracked with the head, but there are plenty of... if you pick up any of these kits, if you picked up this kit, you could swap out one of her weapons. What does she come with normally? She's carrying this little... Yeah, you could easily swap out one of those hands. You can see you can make a really nice clean cut at this cuff here, and just swap out a hand for a chain axe. If you got those... I closed it now. Yeah, I've closed it. The... I forget the name. The Chaos Space Marine ones, the Khorne Berserker ones. What are they called now? There's too many kits. Too many kits to remember in this stream. If in doubt, dead animal bits. Jackals, that's it. Yeah, if you picked up a Jackals kit, that'd be perfect. You'd have chainsaws you could use. They're human scaled. You'd have some heads. You'd have some extra spiky bits you could stick on her. Perfect. That's what my suggestion is. Cool. Go for it. Right. Again, we've done 50 minutes. We're making good progress so far. What I'm just going to do is just going to quickly refresh the form just to make sure that everyone is on the list still. Yeah, we've had a few extra suggestions added to the list. We might not be able to get around to everything, but like I said at the beginning of the stream, if there's anything I can't do in this stream, I will definitely keep a track of what I've told. I'll make some little marks, and then I know who I've done. 1, 2, 3. We've just done the Ursula Creed, so let's mark those as complete, and then I can just come back to any that I miss in the next stream. Next stream probably won't be one of these. It'll probably be a Raptors stream, maybe on Sunday. Depends, because I've got my next video needs working on, so I'm not 100% sure if it'll be that or if it'll be Raptors. Depends on how much time I get. Anyway, sidetracked. Right, the next suggestion comes from Mighty Hair. And I shall just double check that. Let's get this over here. We can have a look. Right, Mighty Hair. I'm trying to find the best tubes and pipes for miniatures. I've seen Zinja Industries has a few options, but are there any other companies you could recommend? Working on a 30k Death Guard army and need more Greeblies for conversions, Kitbash, especially tubes. This is needed for artillery, some infantry, and consoles. Okay, this is for Horus Heresy. Tubes. So, now this one is a bit of a tricky one, really, because it's a bit of an ethical conundrum, and So there's a company called Green Stuff World, and they there used to be a tool that existed called a tube and pipe tool, and it was basically two little plates of ridges that you roll out some green stuff and you would mix it between, and it would create like ridges and pipes and stuff like that. And someone, I think it was who was it now? I actually do have them somewhere. I can't remember exactly where they are, but I had them somewhere, the original ones, and they didn't do a patent or anything, and then Green Stuff World released their own and patented it. So they kind of stole an idea from someone and then claimed it as their own and stopped anyone else from selling it. So again, Green Stuff World do sell them, but it's a bit iffy, really. Yeah. So that's that. But if you're not a fan of green stuff, it's gonna be tricky, really. So there was a company now I used years ago. So there's gonna be an ad starting in about 10 seconds. So what I'm gonna do for anyone who's here, I'm gonna try and find this old thing that I had, and then afterwards I will come back and we will catch up. Speak to you in a second. Right, what was this now? What it was basically, it was kind of like there was these metal pipes for Warhammer. They were pewter pipes, if I remember rightly, and they were kind of bendable. I still have some somewhere. I reckon they don't make them anymore. I bought these years ago. It's a tricky one. I ordered some probably about 6-7 years ago. So try my emails to see if I can find the order that I did however many years ago. It was kind of like, it was cool. It's going to really bug me. I'm not going to find it on the stream now. It's going to really bug me. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so when it comes to pipes, there are lots of options, and I will go through everything once everyone's back off the ad. But there are tons and tons of kits out there which have various pipes and things if you want to use them. A lot of Games Workshop kits have them. Again, it's very expensive just to go for pipes. So what could we suggest? I think Rubicon. Do they have any pipes? Okay. So yeah, I think I'm not going to find those. I don't even think the company probably exists anymore. It was that long ago when I ordered them. But they were basically these little pewter pipes that you could bend, and they came in different sizes, and they were just like the regular pipes. And I think I've still got some somewhere that I never got around to using, but maybe we can use them in the future. Right, so we're nearly back from the ad, and cool. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the ad. Okay, so I had to think. I can't remember exactly where these little pipes that I got before were from. It was a long time ago. I didn't think they do it. As other people suggested, you can use guitar wire. I've used guitar wire in the past. It can be a little bit tricky to work with because it wants to bend in certain ways. I've also used plastic rod, just plastic styrene rods. You can use those. Again, can be tricky to work with. I've had decent success by warming it up as much as I can do. So if you kind of put it into very hot water, you can get a little bit of pliability. You can bend that, but quite often it wants to go back to that straight position, that straight surface. There are always going to be kits that you can basically borrow them from, but again, that's can be quite expensive. Can be quite expensive. My dog's just barking crazy at the moment. I don't know why, she's in a playful mood. Old shoestring and put it in place with sprue glue on it. I've never tried that. I guess it really depends. If you're doing Death Guard. If you're doing kind of old school Horus Heresy Death Guard, you're not going to want to be having things which look too organic and gross. But so yeah. Just the dogs barking. Yeah, so I think there's lots of options basically, and there's lots of pros and cons to everything. Guitar wire and plastic rod are all quite straightforward to use. They're not very straightforward to use because you kind of, it's quite hard to get smaller. If you want large areas for vehicles and things like that, it's quite easy. Smaller models, not quite as straightforward. Yeah, tricky one. Any thoughts on the stuff that Zinj Industry sells? Let's have a look. Flexible resin. Okay, I've not actually tried these. I've seen these, and I've seen a lot. Let's grab these up on the browser, so I'm not just looking at these completely isolated. Right, Firefox. That's our mobiles. Oops. Flexible resin. So, bandolier strips, large ammo belt, linked block, chain. I've not tried that. Looks interesting. They do lots of stuff. Power cables. I'm guessing this is what you're looking at. I mean, yeah. I mean, they look pretty good, to be honest. If they're flexible as well. I mean, what have they done there? Yeah, it looks pretty good. That's quite nice. Yeah, you know what? I would just genuinely, I would just stick to those. For the sake of £6 for 6 of them, if that is the smallest that they do, is that the smallest that they do? Or do they? Power cables, Spruce 6, extra large cables. This looks smaller. Bundle cables. Well, these are really nice. Look at those. I've not actually seen these. Look at that. Even I'm learning stuff on this stream. What thickness plasticines you use, and are you still reviewing models? Because I just submitted one. I'm guessing you use Plasticard. That's what you mean. I think I use 1mm, usually 1.5, that kind of stuff, and those things. But yeah, no, I think Mighty Hair, yeah, just go for that. Go for these. Give them a go. They look pretty good. For the headache of guitar strings, plastic rod, and everything else, I would just stick with these. These look pretty good. Sorry I couldn't be any more insightful in that particular section, but yeah, it's if you don't want to use green stuff, then these seem to be the next best option, in my opinion. Cool. Right. Next person. Let's go back to the phase. And let's go back to the list. Set that as completed. Right, who's next? Snowblind. Warhammer 40k army. You are starting a Harakoni Warhawks themed army. Just wondering if you had any advice on basic parts or a general starting point. Right. Okay, so this is one of those armies that always gets suggested. A lot of people are always very much like, how can we do Harakoni Warhawks? So you had the Elysian drop troops and then the Harakoni Warhawks, and they had their original picture, if I remember rightly, that basically looked like, and you'll see where I'm going with this. Let's have a look at the picture. It was in an old Imperial Guard codex, if I remember rightly. Yeah, that's the one. So there are a couple of images that I've seen. And they're both probably on the wiki. Look at this. I can become a lore channel now. Watch. I'm just going to sit here and make a video and just read off the wiki about them. The Harakoni Warhawks are the Astra Militarum elite airborne regiments of drop troops raised from the hive world of Harakon. The Harakoni Warhawks are predisposed by their world's environment to excel at grav shoot drops into planetary combat zones from orbit. So this is the picture that I remember very well. This was in one of the old Imperial Guard codexes when they were Imperial Guard. And then there's also this image which I've seen a little bit more recently. Very similar, but not quite the same. A little bit more updated, I guess. This one's a little bit more chunky, I say. It could be the pose. But yeah. I don't want to just watch ads. Close the ads. Skip ad. Don't want it. Okay, thank you. I don't get any money for these. Pete the Lawmaster. Yeah, all I need to do is just put some dramatic music on and just have these images. Let's just get the full effect. There we go. Oh, hang on, let me get the script out. Let's really do this properly. If we're going to do this properly, right? Which image do you see there? Okay, cool. Ready. This is my pilot for a Pete the Lawmaster. The Harakoni Warhawks are the Astra Militarum's elite airborne regiments of drop troopers raised from the hive world of Harakon. The Harakoni Warhawks are predisposed by their world's environment to excel at grav shoot drops into planetary combat zones from orbit. Look how smooth that zoom is. There we go. Anyway, enough dunking on the lore channels. It's just not as much effort as doing a full painting tutorial, is it? Just saying. Okay, so anyway, back to the. I'm going off topic here. If you have Gimple, Photoshop, or even Sketchbook, it's free. You can always edit photos together, see what works visually. Pete and Luton Club around. I actually think I asked Luton if they wanted to do a collaboration, and they said they didn't want to do one. To be fair, it was probably about 3 or 4 years ago when I probably didn't have as many subscribers, so it probably wasn't as many as worthwhile for them to do anything with me. But yeah, that's quite funny. Anyway, right. Harakoni Warhawks. I do know why I'm going with this one. Don't worry, I'm not going off too far. I already kind of thought of this myself. It's going to be a little bit more expensive, so you're going to want to run the army as elite, because just to cut down on the number of miniatures, not Space Marines, you're going to want to grab yourself some of... Are they in stock? Don't tell me the last page. Please don't be the last page. There you go. That's why, because they're out of stock. There you go. Cool. This is what you want. Start off with these guys. You can run them as Gazkin as well, or Tempestus, anything like that. You want to run them as elite. And then the thing to get the jump packs. Now, there are third-party companies. There is Anvil Industries, if I remember rightly. If you don't mind buying third-party bits, you can have a look for... So these do these kind of backpacks here. I think they did some other ones as well. Maybe I'm getting confused with another company. So you could go for those if you wanted some specific components. You could just stick those on the back instead of the regular backpacks. Alternatively, there is also... you can see them actually on a miniature there. You can even get them with a little fire popping out of them as well. Check the part in case you missed it. What was the poll? Have I missed it? It's gone. I think I had the chat on scroll. Oops. How strict are Games Workshop tournaments with third-party bits? Yes, they're getting even stricter. It used to be something like, as long as more than 50% of the miniature was Games Workshop, you're okay, but it's getting to the point where it's 100%. So, in that case, if you want to use them in tournaments, then those are no good, but I have seen them used pretty effectively, to be honest. Now, there are two options. There is one of them which is a little bit more straightforward. I'll tell you what, let's go for these ones instead. No, not those. Those won't look right. Space Marines. You could actually... I've seen people who have basically stuck on... Oh, is there only 2 spinny shots? Good old-fashioned Firstborn Space Marine packs. And then all they've done is cut away these little low events here. They look pretty good as jump packs, especially on Kaskin, because they're a little bit taller as well. So whilst these wouldn't... I mean, if you look at the size of a Kaskin against these Firstborn Marines, they're about the same height now. So yeah, that's how big it would look on the miniature. If you want something a little bit smaller and you didn't mind the modifications, I mean, these go fairly cheaply on eBay as well. You can get quite a few of those if need be. Another option, 40k. Another Imperial Army. Sisters of Battle, basically. Similar kind of power packs, not quite the same. I mean, there's obviously the Seraphim, sorry. Is it Zephyrim? Is that the alternative build? But those are a little bit too ornate, a bit too over the top. Let's just find the regular sisters. There we go. Let's get this 361. So you could use one of these quite nicely. If you just cut away this symbol, covered it with a pouch or something, those would work quite nicely for kind of grav shoots. They're a little bit smaller, and you can see they don't have these vents quite the same either. So yeah, that's an option. Again, it's going to be getting enough of these. That's the main drive. But yeah, cool. Yeah, Seraphim and Zephyrim from the same kit. Right. Have I missed any comments? No. Cool. Orlok Wreckers have similar backpacks. Yes, that's what I was thinking about. Orlok there. I think you get four of those in a pack, which isn't super cost effective, but they actually work. They're really nice jump packs, to be honest. They're kind of like really over the top. Lots of pipes. But yeah, maybe you could save those for more kind of elite characters. Cool. So, yeah, hopefully that give you a little bit more of an idea. Base it off Kaskin. The heads are perfect. If you wanted to spread them out a little bit further, you could maybe change some of the iconography. You could maybe even, let's go back to that original picture there. You could maybe even remove some of the yeah, they're quite basic, to be honest. Why has this guy got Acadian Gate? What a strange place to put that there. I've just realised. Anyway, yeah. So this is even like it looks like a regular lasgun, but then this section here is something you see more on hotshot lasguns. So yeah, I think you could get away with using these as a Harakoni Warhawk. So yeah, hopefully. Seem fairly straightforward, and it is, but sometimes those kind of ideas are usually the best ones. There's no point overcomplicating it if there's no need. Anyway. Right. Have I missed any questions before I move on to the next one? 2 days' time, I get my £600 order of guardsmen for my traitor guard army. Wow. That's a lot of guardsmen, but you do need a lot of guardsmen to run a traitor guard. So, any Imperial Guard force, really, not just traitors. Right, who is next? Right, so that was Snowblind. Hopefully, did I see you in the chat? I can't see if you're in the chat. I think I can actually see who is in the stream. £600, what was that, 500 points? Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much. Okay, so someone I do know is in the stream. Forgot who submitted the question, but if you're in the UK or Europe, I can mail some sister packs for nothing. I don't need them for anything. Cool. Yeah, so nice, a very friendly offer. Right, next up, we have someone who is in the chat, Shohan, who is Shohan TBD in the chat. So, you're looking at a Warhammer 40k army. Hi Pete, I have started a conversion product for my slowly growing Tau Auxiliaries army, and I have begun to use bits of paper clips to pin the various parts and even segments of limbs to the model together, all for dynamic pose. You've provided some images. In your experience and God Emperor mighty conversion skills, thank you very much, flattery will get you everywhere. Do you think this is the way to go about it, as well as using green stuff to sculpt body parts, or should I use milliput? Long neck seen on image. I have 2 more Taro suits. Pharaoh. Why is PT? It's that pterodactyl ptero suit. To convert in the same manner, which is why I ask if I should change my approach in some way. It took me about 3 to 4 hours for this one. Yeah, I feel that. Thanks, love your content and your contagious passion for the hobby. Extra pick of the chameleon stealth suit for fun. Cheers, Shohan. You're very welcome. Right, let's have a look at these. You've provided several images. Let's get those up. That is ready. Let's close these tabs. I'm one of those people who just always have tabs open for days. Second image. I am always wary about opening these images on stream, which is why I'm going to check them beforehand, because you never know. Someone with it out for me might decide to submit something that might get me banned from Twitch. Right. Nice. These are looking good so far. Okay. Even got annotations. Look at that. Very nice. Okay, I can see why you call them ptero suits. Yeah, makes sense. Right. Okay, so let's bring this up. Let's bring this up on the stream. Okay. Where are we? Where are we? Where are we? Love that. I got myself some of the new Death Claws of Kree Kill Team box converted to Traitor God. Yeah, they're really nice miniatures. Malevolent Spoon. Hello. No worries, nothing safe. So I didn't expect that it would be, but it's just one of those things that I can guarantee as soon as I just opened it on stream and didn't show, you can guarantee that it would. It would. Right. Okay, cool. So we have your conversion so far, and it looks like you've based it on a Crisis Battlesuit, and you have the Pterodon Riders for the Seraphim. So I can see what you've done. So I'm guessing that you've added paper clips here to do the pinning. Yeah, you can see where you've done the pinning. This is all nicely annotated. Look at this. So if anyone who hasn't submitted it yet, if you need to do any annotations like this is all very helpful. It gives me an idea of what has been used anyway. Have you added one by the head as well, or is that just kind of been blended in? I'll let you know. I like this. I like this little chameleon head poking out. It's pretty cool. It's fun. And you've got the legs attached to the guns as well. Nice. Okay. So, going back to your question. Let me just find that question again. I've lost the question. Responses, viewing sheets. Do you think this is the best way to go about it, as well as using green stuff to sculpt body parts? Should I use millipots, long neck, seen an image? Right. Okay, so as I have detailed in the past in my... which one? So I've done it a couple of times. So I've done it for my Tzeentch Soul Grinder, and then I also did it for my Viacos Dynasty Vangorian Lord. What I like to do is I like to use milliput to build up the basic shape, and then I use green stuff to add in like the skin texture. Milliput's easier to kind of place down as a basis. It dries really solid, and then if you find that it's a little bit too thick after you've applied it, you can kind of shave it down, scrape it down. Works really nicely for that. And then milliput has that elasticity, which is really good for sculpting more organic shapes. So I'm guessing here for doing the organic kind of skin. Because then what you can do is, because you have a base there already, the problem with using green stuff and filling an entire gap in one go is that you place the green stuff down, and as you're trying to sculpt the surface and you're trying to sculpt some details onto the surface, you're actually malforming the whole structure of the neck, and it can add weird dips, it can add weird troughs in there, so it's a bit of a strange thing to work with. What you want to do really is you want to do a nice solid base of milliput, let that dry fully, probably overnight, and then use the green stuff just to add the detail rather than building the structure. Now, even if you were using the mix of green stuff and milliput, which some people do use, I would even suggest doing a couple of layers there as well. If you look at anyone who does armature work, so anyone who sculpts miniatures using little wire armatures, they always build it up in several layers, because it just means that you're focusing on, first of all, the structure, and then you're focusing on the details, two separate entities. So that's what I would do. Pinning, yeah, you seem to have gotten the pinning down. It's definitely worth doing that. It will give you more rigidity. Some areas need it more than most, but it will give you that freedom to repose the stuff, and obviously these really nice dynamic poses that you've got here. So this one not quite as much in the way. I can guess that you've maybe, I like how you've blended it back into the original chameleon stick there. That's quite nice actually. You've gotten rid of the hooves. Nice work. And you just poke this guy poking out of the top there. Yeah, so definitely for, what else have we got there? Okay, another angle you can see here. Let's zoom in there. So you can see how you've got this kind of like a rough texture here. What I would do is, if you have a pin here, you haven't marked it on this one, but if you do have a pin there, Miller put some strips and you want to go kind of vertically along the neck, as if you're almost rebuilding that musculature in. And then afterwards, you use the green stuff to recreate this kind of skin here. See how it's in the folds? That's what you want to try and do. Keep it smooth on top, fold it underneath, and it'll help to maintain a more continuous flow down the model. Yeah, nice work. Looks good so far. Carry on with that. I think you'll do a really nice, interesting army. All for big fan of Tau Auxiliary Forces. Would like to do more myself in the future. The Scrav Eok that I did. I was quite surprised about that. I did that one. I thought most people would be interested in it, and people really liked it. So yeah, maybe we'll do more in the future. Anyway. Right. Shehan, thank you very much for the greater good. Yeah. So again, if you have anyone else, there is a link to submit if you haven't done so already. If you're new to the stream, we are reviewing people's miniatures. Well, not really reviewing people, just offering advice. I did do that review. If anyone would like me to do the review thing that I did last year now, if you actually did watch that was quite good. That was more of like a critique on miniatures. This is more of a pre... For a lot of people who've maybe just started the project, it's not completed, and they're looking for a little bit of direction. So yeah, thanks, Yankee. That's the form there. Again, if I don't get to everyone in this stream, I will do another stream at some point, maybe next week, maybe next Wednesday as well. Cool. Right, let's have a look at the next one. Let's just mark that off as read. So the next person is Michael, is it Janukic? I should put the name in the chat because I'm probably butchering that name. I do apologize. There you go. That's the person who submitted this one. What did you say? So, Bolt Action and other war games from Warlord Games. Not something I've done on this channel for a long time. You're looking for advice on washes and brushes. Again, this isn't just conversion advice. If you want any advice on anything I might be able to help with, be it conversions, painting, even just like brush care. Hi, I've always been inspired by your tutorials, and I would like to ask how you use washes so they don't shine, and how you mix them so that the strange effects shown in the photos don't appear I would like to ask if it makes sense to use an old size 00 or 000 brushes for dry brush or base colors. I use army painter washes mixed with water. Okay, let's open that image. Just copy that. Let's get this prepped. Check that out. Okay, right. So I think I can see the problem straight away. With this one, let's get this up on the stream so everyone can see, and we can have a little bit of so we've got an ad starting, but this will just be a quick one, and then what I'll do is I'll probably just sit and chat to the subscriptions. Right. Firefox and Face. Okay. So we've got a Wehrmacht officer, I believe, from Warlord Games. Probably early war, if I'm guessing rightly. So, it's these kind of little fragmented sections that you can see here in the hands and down here. Now, in my experience, that could be because now Army Painter washes, they're not bad washes, but I found that when you mix them with water, they can have this effect, especially if they haven't been properly mixed. So first advice, always thoroughly mix your washes. Always make sure they're shaken to within an inch of the life. You want to make sure that everything is, all that medium and all that pigment is fully mixed together properly. You need to do that every time you use them. As well, I would recommend checking out the Army Painter. They sell a quick wash mixing medium. Mix that in. Basically, that is the same medium. That's basically a wash without any pigment in it, and that will reduce the strength of it. So it's not as strong going on. What I think is maybe happening here is too much pigment is pooling in one area, and what it's doing is when it's drying, it's cracking. It's kind of pulling away because there's quite a lot of pigment in these spots. It will also help with the shininess as well to a degree. You probably will need to varnish though, because you're always going to get some sort of shine with washes because you're essentially imparting a smooth surface over the top. I'm just going to snooze the ad for 5 minutes. But yeah, you can see it here where it's pooled up in the middle. So yeah, make sure you may be using too much water. Maybe switch to an actual medium. I found that they tend to be better. Some washes are fine. I've used the Too Thin Coats range of paints mixed with water, and they're always okay. Don't apply it too heavily. If you need a really strong base, then apply a layer, let it dry, come back, do another one over the top. That's probably the best option. So, I'm just making sure I haven't missed any. No, I haven't missed any questions. Pass the Soup Boy. I hope this doesn't sound weird, but your voice is very nice, and you could do audiobooks. The thing is, I do appreciate the compliment. Thank you very much. But I really dislike doing the voiceovers for the videos because it's like the most boring. Well, it's not the most boring part, but it's one of the more boring parts of it. It's just reading a script. So I'm not sure if doing that full time would be much fun, but you never know. Maybe if YouTube fails, maybe if all my patrons and advertisers abandon me, I can always fall back on audiobooks. Yeah, so hopefully everyone has got a little bit of advice for doing washes there. I'm not sure if Mikhail was in there, but if you are, there you go. Hopefully that gives you some advice. You don't need to comment if you're not in the stream. Don't worry. I'm just making sure that I am answering everyone's questions. And yeah, other than that, really nice paintwork. You did ask another question. We've got 3 minutes for the next ad run, so let's just quickly check what that other half of the question was. So the strange effects of the photos, yeah, we sorted that one. It makes sense to use old size 00 and 000 brushes for dry brush or base colours. I use my own painted washes mixed with water. So those are very, very small brushes, and I wouldn't normally use those kind of size brushes for anything other than very small details or very targeted pin washes. So I'm not sure how much you should get out of them using for dry brush, to be honest. If you want to use dry brushes, I would recommend using... So I mean, just for context, this is an Artis Opus 00. Is that going to focus? Let me actually get OBS up so I can check if it's focusing or not. I'm not actually in it. There you go. So you can see how small that is. That's a 00. So the one you're suggesting using a 000. Yeah, that seems quite small. I personally wouldn't, because with a dry brush, what you're really trying to do is you're trying to get those initial layers down quickly. So the smaller you brush you're using, you're kind of defeating the purpose. I've recently kind of moved away from that flat dry brush and started using some of the Artis Opus brushes. You can see there, they're kind of like a round light bulb effect rather than a flat brush, and those work really nice for those kind of things. So yeah, hopefully that sums everything up, and hopefully I haven't no. Okay, we're okay. Cool. So hopefully that answers your question. I do apologise if there was anything I've missed in that. I think I've covered everything. brief summary. Try not to mix with water if you're having that effect. Make sure you mix the paint really well. When you apply it, don't apply it too much. Apply 2 thin layers rather than 1 thick coat. And if it does pull in the recesses, try to move it out a little bit. And if you're getting glossy finishes, just use a matte varnish over the top. Perfect. Right, I'm going to run an ad here. I'm going to have a quick drink and get the next one prepped. So I'll see you guys in 1 minute, 30 seconds. It might actually be... Okay, is it running? Okay. Cool. Twitch just took a little while then to do it. That's water. There we go. Right, so let's get the next one queued up and see who is next on the list. I've got a few more images here as well, so let's get those. Use this time wisely to get those. Okay, right. Got those ready for the next one for when our non-subscribed viewers get back, or anyone who's watching this on the VOD. If you're watching this on the VOD, well, hello, welcome. Let's just check I haven't missed any comments either. Right, nearly coming back. Let's make sure that those pages are already 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. So I'll quick look at them. Nice. Be back in a few seconds. Cool. Hello. Welcome back. We've got the next person who is being looked at on the stream. Okay. Doomchild. Warhammer 40k Army. Wrapping up the conversion of my Demon Prince using Guilliman. Always feels like it's unfinished or that something is wrong with it, but I can't decide what else to do with it or how to pose it on a base and finish the conversion work. So that's the first point. Second point, make some non-spiky Mauler/Forge Fiends, one of which to serve as a potential mount for the Lord Discordant, which will be a Tech Marine Kitbash using a Mark III Marine as a base. Just need to find something to serve as a chain glaive. Looking for possible head swaps or parts to make them look more in line with the rest of the army while keeping the overall Fiend design and shape. I've shaved one to remove the Chaos Star, but it feels lacking and sloppy. Could use some inspiration for something clean. Third point, while not currently planned, but with 10th edition reveals, the Helldrake is looking viable again. So if you have some idea of how to do a Helldrake that maybe looks more regal. So basically making an Emperor's Children army with Horus Heresy aesthetics, original Imperial gold purple scheme, Mark III and Mark IV Marines, no Chaos Iconography or excessive edginess. Idea behind the army, traitor Emperor's Children who split off from the Heresy to build their own perfect little empire, focus on military doctrine and abuse of human perfection, no mutants allowed. Okay, nice. Using Forge World Horus Heresy, there's a lot of text here. Using Forge World Horus Heresy units as proxies, or the plastic Marines from Portrayal of Calth and burning of Prospero boxes, doing conversions for the Demon Prince and Mauler Fiends. So yeah, you're running it as a 40k army, but it's going to be kind of Emperor's Children, but not over the top Emperor's Children, like a diluted Chaos version. Okay. But doing conversions for the Demon Prince and Mauler Fiends, possibly also a Forge Fiend and Helldrake, thanks to today's Chaos Space Marine Data Sheets reveal. To make them fit in the overall corpse. Okay. Okay, so I think I've got the idea then. Let's just get back to the Twitch. There's a lot of text there. Right, Doomchild, you're here. Welcome. Right, let's get this up. So we'll start off with your those again? Did you say Demon Prince? Okay, very nice miniature as well. Well done. Cool. Is that on? Perfect. We're there. We're there. Hello, Broadsword Wargaming. How are you? This is the thing when people like when the streamers, people who got YouTube channels and stuff drop in, and I know that their like normal names are. I'm always like, should I refer to them as their actual normal human name or their channel name? I never really know, because some people prefer to go by their channel name. Some people, I think Broadsword goes by. I think everyone knows what his name is. Right. Anyway. So this is your Demon Prince. Yeah, I can see the aesthetic you're going for. You're kind of really dipping into that imperial heraldry, which the Emperor's Children, the old Emperor's Children had. Awkward sip of water is the content we're all here for. I keep losing the... Yes, this is really, as people have been saying, it's a really nice conversion. You've done a really good job of kind of incorporating some non-kit parts, so you've added them in, and you've given something which is, it could still be Imperial, like, it's not overly chaotic, but you could see how it would fit in nicely with the Chaos Army. This looks like a Terminator armor, scaled quite nicely, actually. It looks really nice. Head is good. We've got another shot here. You can see that you've attached some hair as well. Some nice long flowing hair. You've got a little bit of fur dropping down over the shoulders as well. Nice. Yeah, you've removed the ultramarine symbols. To be honest, I mean, one of the things you said was, and to be honest, I feel the exact same when I'm doing these kind of things. Wrapping up the conversion on my Demon Prince using Guildman always feels like it's unfinished or that something is wrong with it. Honestly, I get to the end of my projects and think, is this enough? Have I done too much? Have I not done enough? Have I kind of ruined it by going further? There's always more you can add to a model. It's very rare that you can say, okay, it's 100% done. I can't add anything more. And if you physically can't add anything more to the model, you've gone way too far with it anyway. So don't worry. I think as it stands, it looks good. The reason why it doesn't feel finished is because it's not painted. As soon as you start putting paint on there, and as soon as it's kind of completed with the paintwork, you'll feel a lot happier with it. It's a strange thing converting is, because someone who's painting the model expects that it won't look finished until it's fully painted. Someone who's converting the model, it doesn't always look finished until it's fully painted, even though it's fully converted. It's a strange kind of weird paradox that I know that a lot of kitbashers feel. So yeah, to be honest, you don't need anything else with this. This guy is great. Keep him as is. Base wise, you can probably base them on the original base. If there's a particular Space Marine faction you want him to be going up against, then just get some torsos, pop that in there. I think I did a tutorial on how to make dead Space Marine bases. Just add some of those, paint them in the colours that you want. Perfect. Next, we have the Forged Morphine. So you can see how you've removed a lot of these. You see better from the top, you've kind of gotten rid of the star, and you're looking to mount a tech priest to this one, if I remember rightly, as a Lord Discordant. Tech Marine Kitbash using Mach 3 Marine as a base. You need to find something to serve as a chain glaive. Chain glaives, really easy to find these days. You can pretty much make them from just regular chainsaws, and then just pop them on a bit of plastic rod. That's how I do them. Personally, off the top of my head, let's go back to the jackals. I reckon, I mean, you can see them at the top there. Those kind of chainsaws would work really well. But to be honest, actually, thinking about it, if you're already going to be using Mach 3 anyway, say if you have to buy any new kits, if I find it, probably just easy to type it in at this point. Mach 3 tactical squads, they come with loads of these chain swords, loads of them. And if you look at the Lord Discordant, let's just open that in a new tab. If you look at that, apart from this blade here, I just closed it. New tab. New tab. Right, back. Where were we? It kind of has a similar shape. You can see that it's sort of a similar shape. It has that kind of stepped look to it. So yeah, you could use any chainsaw, but yeah, those would work quite nicely, and they wouldn't be quite as chaotic looking. And if you've got those anyway, perfect. Alecman246, have you missed yours? No, you are next though. You are next after this one, so hold on tight. Main inspiration for this one was Fulgrim on the cover of the novel. I think it's opposing to a base that's part of it. The difference between not enough and too much is a hair's breadth. I find aiming for almost enough is the money shot. Yeah, it's a difficult line. If you can get enough on there that you can see what someone was going for without the paintwork, I always feel that that's enough. You sometimes people overcompensate because they're thinking, well, it's not painted, so it doesn't quite look what I need it to. So they start adding more stuff to it, and it's often unnecessary. A subtle wing relief pattern on the back would supersell the Emperor's Children. I agree. Yeah, if you can find something, that's the top of my head. Where could we think? Let's get another. Could ultra processed foods be harmful for us? The very cute science of a kitten need. The news is strange news stories. I've lost track. Where Blood Angels? That's where we were going. Space Marines, Blood Angels. Now there are lots of wing reliefs that you can use on these miniatures, and one of them. Why is it always the last page? I'm getting to the point where I should just search for it. Oops. There we go. So this dreadnought's quite nice. It contains some nice little details that you can use. I think, are the wings separate? Oh no, of course the wings are attached. Okay, let's try this one then. Yeah, you can get away with probably using some of these items. These might not be quite big enough, but I know this kit, I mean, those wings would be great. If you could add those to it, onto the back. Because the thing is about, really, if you're thinking about Dark Angels and things like that, the only difference between the wing that a Dark Angel uses and a Blood Angel uses is that the Dark Angels has a sword, Blood Angels has a drop, and Emperor's Children has the claw. And apart from that, the wings across the three are mostly the same. So that's quite a straightforward option. So yeah, you can probably get some wings to use on your miniatures out of this, and probably find some other stuff to use across your other forces. There's obviously this kit. That's a bit more expensive. This one's quite a nice little kit, 10 quid. Lots of little details and stuff that you could probably make use of. Even these pennants would work really nice, to be honest. Especially if you're attaching them to a Mauler Fiend, it would help to separate it out from the original style without necessarily being over the top. These little kind of claws here, little raven wing symbols holding the swords, clip off the swords, and work some really nice Emperor's Champion kind of deal. Right, I've kind of got, there's a lot of chat going on in the the comments and I missed it. Where did I get to it? Okay, so yeah, Broadsword War Games taking over the chat at the moment, so thank you for keeping everyone occupied whilst I waffle on about Raven Wing sprues. Desperate to convert a Gabriel Seth for Kira. Looking at Ragnar at the moment. Looking at Ragnar or the Chaos Lord holding a weapon in his right hand. Any advice for someone who sucks at converting if you get the time? Well. Normally I would say submit it on the form, but I will give you, as I have met you in person and we have attended events together, I will be the exception this turn. Let's have we can squeeze a quick one in for Broadsword Wargaming. Right, so Gabriel Seth, that's getting familiar. So he's the Flesh Terrors. Oh my god, is he actually not a miniature anymore? What? They stopped selling him? Wow, okay, interesting. Interesting. Yes, he's got a lot of forward dynamism. Oh yeah, I'm guessing that's kind of like what you were going for. That's what you're looking for. That's quite nice. Quite like that kind of forward momentum that he's got going there, and that's using the. Someone else doing the same thing. There we go. Seems like a very popular miniature to base him on. Yeah, I think that as a concept would work really well. These giant chainsaws. Anyone who wants to do Flesh Terrors, you can get them from the Eviscerators from Sisters of Battle. Armies of the Imperium, Sororitas, and they're from the Repentia. Where are they? Oh, I missed them. I think I've missed them. There. Yeah, these work really nicely. You can just kind of clip off those symbols if you need to, and they're just giant, oversized chains. So you can even, if you cut away these sections as well, you can keep these like guards. You might have to remove that, but yeah, that's an option. Chat's paused. I know. I hope this isn't a rude question, but ask how long until is my soup boy until yours. Yeah, so yours was submitted today, so it's possible I won't get to it. I think anyone who submitted it before the stream started will hopefully get covered, but I think anyone who submitted it during the stream will maybe have to wait for the next stream. I do apologise. It's quite. It's I can speed through them, but I feel I want to give everyone a fair look in. So yeah, that was a quick. Don't worry, it was a quick one. But yeah, Ragnar will work really well. Maybe even Dante, thinking about it, if you wanted to kind of go for, you could maybe even do that, paint his armor red. I think that would look really nice. Probably change his pose a little bit so he wasn't using a jump pack, but yeah, that's a quick sidebar. Anyway, so hopefully Doomchild, I do hope that was enough for you. Yeah, Gilliman kind of Demon Prince base looks really good. Keep it as is. Don't need to do anything. Stick it on a base, paint it up. You'll feel a lot better about it. Heldrake as well. Oh, Heldrake. How can we make that more regal? Heldrake's a difficult kit to work with. You know, it depends. It depends really, because any kitbash is feasible if you don't mind spending enough money on it. Okay, I've got an idea. So if we go to, should be better. No, that wouldn't work. Space Marines, Dark Angels. I'm going to dip into the Dark Angels again. I was hoping the Flyers would have a little bit more wing motif to them, but they probably won't. They're just like flying boxes, aren't they? The Space Marine Flyers are. Let's have a look. Can you see Flyer there? Flyer, infiltrated Fly. There we go. 19. Okay, anyway. You must have an endless supply of bits. Yeah, I do. And when I say endless supply, I mean, if I don't have the bits, I just buy the kit for it, which means that I end up getting the bits that I need, plus all the other bits that come with the kit that I'll get around to. So pretty much my supply is endless at the moment, just because I keep buying more. Why is Games Workshop website? So this is one gripe that I've got about Games Workshop websites, and I did notice it over the weekend with Leviathan going for sale, because the only way to look at their miniatures is by going on their web store. and getting like a good idea of the sprues and stuff like that. As soon as there is a queuing system in place or anything like that, if I just want to go onto the web store to have a look at miniatures and find the pictures for everything, it's really difficult to get on there because I have to sit in a queue. And if they had a full catalogue, which was everything, which had sprue pictures, pictures of the finished miniatures, a little bit of background, and then had a link to the web store, that'd be great because you could go through all that. You could keep an eye on it. But no, they wouldn't need to have the price on there, so they wouldn't need to have to worry about having stock because it could just be a catalogue. A catalogue, maybe? Yeah, I don't know. There'd be a fancy word for it. I'm trying to think how we could make that Heldrake more regal. It's a tricky one. Because anything that's got wings that big, I mean, you've got... They just wouldn't be big enough. Like even the Griffin, which has probably got some of the biggest wings, still wouldn't be big enough, I don't think. Yeah, look. I mean, compared to a Heldrake, they're pretty small. So no, tricky one. Tricky one. Very tricky. Kabuski, hello, welcome. I didn't realise you were in the stream. Welcome. Question: what old world kit are you most excited to come back? Well, for me, it's not. It's probably going to be a toss-up between the Bretonnians and Tomb Kings, because obviously there were a few really nice Tomb King kits which went out of stock. There were Necrosphinx was one. There was the kind of the snake ones as well. They were quite nice. And then obviously the Bretonnian men-at-arms and knights and things like that. I regretted not getting those. So hopefully I'll be quite happy when those come back. That's good. Heldrake is a long shot anyway. You could use them as accents, not replacements in size. Yeah, I mean, I think you're not gonna be able to get too far away from the base model for that one. You're gonna have to keep pretty much the same miniature, but kind of like how you did for the Forge Fiend, Waller Fiend, you should be able to maybe shave down some of the excessive spikes. Let's just get the Heldrake up quickly, demonstrate what I mean. So the Heldrake is more like a dragon, so you kind of want to go for something probably more bird-like in a way. So these little spikes here, you can probably just get rid of them. Probably unnecessary. Ridge spikes down the back, again, you could probably remove them fairly easily. And then maybe a head swap. Maybe something more bird-like rather than this effect. The tricky part is going to be grabbing parts which will work well with the mechanical aspect to it without looking too jarring against the armor. It's very detailed armor, this is. So yeah. Caracal154, welcome to the first time chatting. I really hope they bring back the Men-at-Arms kit. I started an Empire army of old using them as cheap halberdiers. By the way, amazing team. Thank you very much. Do appreciate this. I wasn't really sure how well this one would go down because a lot of it is just me looking at the Games Workshop web store and commenting on the models. Well, yeah, people seem to, when I did this before, people seem to like it. It's a bit more of a way of offering more bespoke advice rather than just being very general and just made, oh, this is a video, I hope it's useful to you. But yeah. Scribe. I think so. They are probably pretty small. For the Phoenix kits, yeah, they are small. Oh, that's another thing, actually. Old World. I think there was the White Lions kit. Let's have a look at the old White Lions. This is another one of those kits that disappeared. Yeah. The High Elves lost quite a lot of kits. I'm amazed that there's still this kit. There's still the Phoenix. No, is it Phoenix Guard? I don't know. One of them. Yeah. Yeah, these are a little bit too small. You can see that. That's how I mean, you could grab it. You could take these feathers. You could maybe use something. The head would be too small though. But yeah, quite a nice kit. Anyway, right. Let's go to the next one. I think we've gotten sidetracked on this one for quite a while. Let's get back to the full face cam, and let's go back to this here. Make sure we mark that one off. Thank you very much, Doomchild, for your submission. And the next person is Alecman24. I did say you were the next, didn't I? Warhammer 40k Army. I've had this idea for a bit now, but I want to make an Astra Militarum army representing the Vitrian Dragoons Regiment. Hopefully vehicles can be included somewhat, but the infantry are the most important, since it'd be tough putting scale pattern armor on vehicles, especially for guard. I'd even settle for a Vitrian kill team, depending on how easy or hard it end up being. I just want to get this idea manifested. I hope it's okay that I get advice on an idea that I haven't actually started. That's fine, don't worry about it. But given how they look compared to regular guardsmen, I wouldn't know where to start. Okay, now this is a trick. I know who the Vitrian Dragoons are straight away. Let's get that up. Let's get that up for everyone who might not know it is. Where's Firefox? There we go. Okay, let's have a quick Firefox. Okay, we can do another. Let's do another. I'll put this over here. Which one's it? Which one's it on? That one. Okay. Okay, let's do another lore read video. Oh no, it's the wrong page. Vitrian Dragoons. Ready? Are we going to do another lore channel read? Okay. The Vitrians are governed by a strict code of honor, known as the Bihatta. The Vitrian Dragoons prefer to deploy with larger than average squads of 20 men each. In terms of weaponry, they make little use of heavier weapons, favouring standard lasguns, which they prefer to set on maximum power. They do not exclusively use lasguns, however. Some Vitrian troopers are instead armed with plasma guns. Colonel Commissar Ibram Gaunt, who served alongside the Vitrian 3rd on Fortis Binary, described them as well-drilled, impressive soldiers. However, he also noted that they were more rigid and less used to the fluid nature of battle than his own Tanith 1st troopers. Okay, so these are basically the bird scale army. There you go, I hope you enjoyed that. Slowly zooming in, yeah. That's what they always do. They just have like a... I mean, I can't say anything, I've done it as well. So, yeah, these guys have very distinct armor. Lots of scales, and straight off the bat, the idea that I have for this kind of thing is back to the Games Workshop page. This is the idea I had initially. Now, it's not perfect, because it's going to be very difficult, but the thing that draws me to them is basically this kind of scale armor as well. You always have these little bits here on the shields that you could probably clip away and use and incorporate. Lord of the Rings Easterlings. So the trouble with using Lord of the Rings stuff is the scale's a bit off. They're a little bit smaller, and the kind of the scaling's a little bit... proportions are a little bit off as well compared to regular stuff. But yeah, so these guys could work, I think, personally. It has that kind of scale work. That would at least work as a basis. Not so much the Sentinels, because they don't have that scale armor. Yeah, again, not even the Stone Guard. What's the other regular units? The sword, the Blade Lords. Yeah, again, these don't really have. They have a little bit of it, not really enough though. I mean, you could use those maybe as like an elite guard. They would work well if you wanted to do something which was more of a, like a Kassakian or something like that. You could use those, or stormtroopers. Yeah. So that would be my initial. That would be my top of the head suggestion. You can even get these like characters as well, which have that same armor that could work. And the thing is about that's quite good about these is because they're all in that kind of similar pose. They're all in this kind of shield pose. And having worked with this kit before, I did that Aldar video. When the torsos are glued together, you could possibly fit some regular Cadian arms on there, possibly. Either that, or you could place Deathcore of Krieg arms because they don't have as big as shoulder pads. But yeah, no, I think you could do that. Heads wise, let's have a look at let's close the white lines up. That's given me another idea actually. Whilst I'm at it, let's have a look at this. This is Sigmar. I think they popped up quite earlier on. These Eternal Guard have a similar kind of armor, but not enough really. Let's see if they're on here. Hopefully I've not missed them. There. That's another option. Again, you've got that kind of scale pattern. It's not exactly the same, but you could probably get away with it, to be fair. I do actually have some of these as a kit, and I think, yeah, so it comes with the torso is sculpted to the cape, so you'd probably have to do a lot of work to get the arms fitting in place, but I personally would go for, yeah, so those don't really have that same effect either. They have the scales, but not the same. What other armies have those scales? Also, Green Stuff World had a scale mail texture plate that you can. We don't like Green Stuff World, just letting you know. I have used stuff of theirs in the past, and as products, they're okay. They're good products, but the thing is, they have a habit of just kind of stealing other people's ideas for products, slapping their own branding on it, and being pretty bad when it comes to enforcing their ownership. So yeah. Anyway, also I am going to say something about them. Their actual green stuff isn't very good. I ordered some of their green stuff because it was just what was on. I needed some quickly, and it was on Amazon or something like that. And it came, and it was good for about a week, and then halfway through the project, it had, when I was mixing it, parts of it had actually dried inside the colours, the strips of the colour. And I thought, okay, it was a bad batch. And I ordered some more again, not realising it was from them. And it did the exact same thing after a few weeks. And it's why I think it might have been my Angron video. And I mentioned in that one that it had gone lumpy. And that was the reason why. So if you ever buy, so the one I get now is this Genelite one. And this is, I had one of these before, and this lasted me about 2 years and didn't go off. It was great. So yeah. Where'd you get your green stuff? I've had similar issues. Yeah, so this one, I think I paid a little bit more for it, but yeah, there's Neodite is quite good, I think, if I remember off the top of my head. I think is there a brand called Neodite, if I remember? But yeah, this one is just Genolite. Genolite. Don't get the Green Stuff World stuff. Milliput's Aaron Bryan, so just grab anything from Milliput, that's fine. Gale Force 9 is solid. I think I've used Gale Force 9. I've even used Army Paint as green stuff, and that's like okay. I just don't know what it is with the Green Stuff World when you think they get it down with it being literally in the name. Yeah, they don't sell Games Workshop. Games Workshop don't sell green stuff anymore. I wonder if it's because it was like it's slightly toxic, I think. I don't know. Anyway, Anyway, hopefully, that was. So you also had some ideas for. So that's pretty much your infantry sorted. I would go for that for your infantry. Vehicles. Vehicles would be trickier. What I would go for with the vehicles, I would kind of maybe lean into this eagle motif more heavily. Try and get plenty of bird motifs. You could even borrow some of the stuff from the Raven Wings. Pop those on. Feathers, things like that. But not so much like loose feathers, but like actual. I'll show you what I mean. A couple of these on the back of the tanks would do wonders. You have that kind of eagle. You have the feathers. You could even modify a few of these symbols as well. They look quite nice. There you go. Cool. Hopefully. I hope that did the job. Alec Man, 24. I've lost the stream. Where's it gone? There it is. Cool. Right. What are we on? There's an ad starting soon, so we've timed that incredibly well. What I'll do is, whilst the ad is running, I will prep the next one. I will have a think if I need to, and I'll see you in roughly a minute and a half. I'm also going to have a drink as well because I'm quite thirsty. So, cool. Thank you very much. Enjoy the ads, guys. Hopefully they're not too annoying. I do apologise, but yeah. Oops. Right, okay, so next one. What are we on? Alec Man 24. Let's mark that as red. Say that we've done it. Okay. Oh, we have some orcs. Nice. Okay, so no pictures to get ready for this one. Let's just close down those. Get those. Get this prepped, get this ready. Okay, nice. Let's get some ideas prepped already, and then when everyone's back, we can jump straight into it. Xenos armies, orcs. Perfect. Let's get that Twitch back open. Let's check that. Sinister Plank. I don't get ads. I'm missing out. Yeah, this is the secret special club for anyone who's watching it on the VOD or is subscribed to me on with Prime or just as a subscription. So yeah, thank you very much for everyone who does subscribe. Massively appreciated. Just like Patreon, channel membership, anything like that, it does really help. This obviously this kind of stream is a bit more straightforward, doesn't really require any miniatures, but I'm using electricity, I'm using time, internet, so it's all at a cost to begin with. So anyone who does support these, thank you very much. You're literally keeping these lights, cameras, and internet going. Thank you very much. Anyway, so I should get them, but I just don't. Well, you've broken the. No, you're a Prime. Are you Prime Gaming? I don't understand some of these symbols sometimes. Stockleys, thank you very much. I appreciate the Prime membership. Big thank you to you. So this plank, yeah, time is a huge cost. I mean, it's about. So to do these streams, about 3 hours in the evening, and then I usually spend about half an hour to an hour just beforehand, just getting like things set up and that. So yeah, it ends up being about 4 hours work nearly to do our 3 hour stream. Anyway, everyone's back. Welcome. We're going to be jumping into the straight into the next person, and their question, which was right. This is from Hi Marshall. Warhammer 40k single. Very, very straightforward. Blood Axe Warboss. What bits kit would you use / buy? I have just started getting into orcs and have decided to go with Blood Axes. I had bought the last Killdecker Big Brigade and a couple of orc combat patrols. but it was on a spontaneous purchase, and I haven't really put much forethought into it. So now I'm left without a thematic war boss to lead my Blood Axe war. Okay. Oh, we've got a hype train going. Someone else has subscribed. Thank you very much. Stockley's subscribed as Prime. Sinister Plank subscribed as Prime. Thank you very much. Doomchild, thank you very much. We've got a 93%. Oh, I kind of finally figured out three streams and I figured out the hype train. So when enough people do bits, sub or gift subscriptions, it pops up. Okay, I get it now. I don't think, does it do anything else? Does it? There's like a thing when it pops up at level 1. We're 93% through it. Yeah. Okay. So this Twitch is alien to me still. A Mighty Hair has redeemed 3 hydrates. I shall take 4 drinks for you. Oh God, 5. How have you got so many of these? I'm literally just going to drown myself. There you go. Done. Okay, cool. Anyway, Blood Axe War Boss. What bits, kits would you use by? Okay. Whilst I'm just having to think of this one, if Yankee is about, could you just pop in a poll on whether or not I should read the Blood Axe entry of the Lexiconum in the same way as the Lore Channel again? I don't know if the bit's enjoyable still or if it's getting grating by this point. So we'll have a poll and we'll see what the result is. Whilst I have a think about this. So, off the top of my head, Blood Axes are the ones which are... Oh, we've got another subscription replied. Lol Sniped, thank you very much. Thank you very much for the poll as well. Halfway through the Blood Axes entry, you've got to stop now. You've got to stop reading through because I'm going to do the voiceover in there. Don't worry. Right. Okay. What are we on so far? 4 people. We've beat our all-time high of 2 on the hype train. That's good. I don't know why. It's good though. Thank you very much, everyone. Okay, so 6. I'm just going to start. I think unless someone decides completely to not do it. Right. Okay. Blood Axes. Let's get those up. Where are we? Blood Axes. I've lost it. I literally had that open. Okay, let's close that. It's got that. We're going to open the image on this one. Drag over the blurb. Okay. Right, I think this is set up. So we should all have the nice picture of the Blood Axe there. Okay. Just going to read the first summary, not all of it. Ready. I'm gonna mix it up a bit. I'm going to zoom out this time. Let's start with it zoomed out. Okay, zoomed in. The Blood Axes are an orc clan that has actually been known to work alongside the forces of the Imperium of Man on occasion. The Blood Angels. I'll start again. The Blood Axes are held by the other orc clans to be a bunch of untrustworthy gits. They trade openly with the world of the Imperium, parley with the foe, and will even consider retreating from battle if faced with insurmountable odds. Perhaps once intended to make Blood Axes natural leaders, these qualities have instead earned them a reputation among other greenskins as little more than treacherous dogs. Thank you. Cool. I'm just gonna clip all these VODs now and then start my own lore channel. It's not really a lore video if it doesn't include uncredited fan art. Brilliant. Right. Okay. So Blood Axe is basically you're going to be. Is that so? Yeah. Okay. Right. So commandos, in my understanding of the old kind of lore, it was quite heavily implied that. So I think a lot of the different units were kind of based around specific clans. So the commandos were very much the Blood Axes. You had things like the looters, which were the Death Skulls. Obviously, all the vehicles were very much like the. That wasn't Goths, was it? Oh, was it? Who the red ones, the fast ones? Anyway, forget that clan's name. The Goths were the wealthier ones, so you had things like Flash Gits were kind of in that kind of realm. So commandos are basically the Blood Axe kit. If you want a war boss, this is the kind of aesthetic you want to go for. They do trade with equipment with Imperial forces. So if you're looking for a war boss with those kind of items, you're going to be looking for Imperial style weaponry, Imperial style equipment. I wouldn't go as far as Space Marines, because as soon as you start going to Space Marines, it's more that they've been looted as opposed to being traded properly. And for size wise, you're going to want something which is probably vehicle sized, I would say. Anything that's like human sized wouldn't work. You're going to want something maybe Astra Militarum. You could go for things like the heavy weapons, maybe even field ordnance batteries, pintle mounted stubbers from vehicles, anything like that. You could include those equipments. Even just little things like these little ammo boxes would work, because it's like they've been purchased from Imperial Guard, they've been swapped, they've been traded. I think in the past they were used as mercenaries as well, if I remember rightly. They would sometimes actually fight for the Imperium. Things do change over time, so I don't know if that's still the case, but yeah. Goths are the fighty ones. They're the most run at the enemy and fight the melee type of orcs. Though my lore is limited on Goths. Ogren gear, yep, Ogrins would work. Goliath's pretty big. So Goliath, yes, I think scales wise, and you've got those upgrade kits, but the thing is that you're not selling that direct aspect that they're buying Imperial Guard surplus equipment, things like that maybe. But yeah, Bulgrin stuff, really good idea. And you don't want it to look too... Hey, I received a level 1 hype train emote. Let's share it. I don't know what that means, but yeah. Choo choo. It's a dolphin with sunglasses. Cool. Thanks everyone. Much appreciated. Yeah, so I think having something stupid big like one of these would look pretty funny. A big auto cannon, a heavy bolter, something like that attached to it. If you went for like maybe one of the power armor, what's it called, mega armor. So if you went for this guy, for example, as a basis, you could maybe, instead of having the grot and this kind of pretty standard orc weapon, you could go for like an autocannon, a pintle mounted heavy stubber, a heavy bolter like this one. As people have suggested in the comments, you could go for something for Ogrins and Bulgrins. You can maybe even swap out some of his armor for that. Weaponry wise, where are we looking at weaponry wise? Again, this is very orky, which works obviously because he's an orc, but maybe if we went something that looked more human than orc, you can still keep that kind of orky vibe to it with like this kind of the handle, but you could swap this out quite easily for something which looked more imperial in appearance. So yeah, hopefully that helped. Autoguns can be very imperial surplus. Yes, they can. I agree. I've run out of Black Prime. I only have Army Green and White Scar, so Green Base and White Scar. And I thought for Black Templars turned out fine. Wow, that's quite interesting. Oh yeah, it like a fist that's the God Rocky Pod. Yeah, Goliath Diggers. That's a good idea, actually. So what's the stream about? Hello there. Hello then, Aeon AGV. Welcome to the stream. So basically this is what I've referred to as a conversion clinic. People could have put forward questions. They've put forward their army projects and ideas they're working on, and I'm basically giving suggestions, going through miniatures they could use, things like that. There is a form. If Yankee would be so kind to drop it in the comments for me, then you can probably just submit. I probably won't get to it in this stream, but I will be doing another stream list. I've got lots of submissions, and I won't get through them all in this stream. But yeah, we will go there. Power fist made of God power fist. Oh, so your hammer made of power fist. Thanks, Yankee. Appreciate it. Yeah, look at these guns. These Ripper guns, the Ogre Ripper guns, look pretty cool. You could get away with those. Heads wise, commandos probably. I reckon if you got this commando head here with the kind of the is that a, it's not a forage cap. Is a garrison cap the same as a forage cap? I know one of them is the kind of like the one that looks like an ice cream vendor. It might not be any of them. We can say Kitbash Clinic for that orc flare. I'll do that next time. Can I do that? And can I change it? Can I change the stream name mid? Yeah, I can actually. Okay, I've updated it. Hopefully, there you go. We've changed it. We're now officially the Kitbash Clinic. Right, yeah, so I think if you grab this guy's head, pops on this guy for your war boss, swap that out with an Imperial weaponry, maybe swap this out for some Imperial weaponry as well. You can even just have parts from a tank. That would work quite well. Just looks like he's basically been fighting with him, so he's been looted. And you still keep that orc flare and actually have like a little bit of a blood axe appearance. It's quite a nice idea for a video as well, so I do apologise if I steal that idea. Yeah, cool. Nice straightforward one. Thank you very much. Where are we now? Where are we going? Where are we going? Where are we going for the next person? Let's get us back onto face cam. And let's go for the next person. Who is next on the list? So that was High Marshal. I haven't seen you in the chat, so hopefully that was good for you. And we have Icaros. So this one is a question that's kind of popped up quite a few times in my comments. I'm not sure if Icaros is you possibly the person who I've seen commenting on my videos anyway. So let's go for this one. How to make Khorne Corrupted Kassakin. I've been in love with the Kassakin model since the release of the original metal ones. Me too, they're really nice models. The new plastic sculpts are perfect for converting. I agree. I want to convert some as Traitor Guard to go with the World Eater's army, but I just don't know how. We've kind of covered this, actually. We've unintentionally already covered this particular one. You've not provided any... No. Okay, cool. Right, so let's just double check there's no chats, no questions in the chat. How are we going? Have a drink before I forget. Yo, Pete the Wargamer, your Dr. Manhattan Void Dragon is awesome. Everyone should check it out if they haven't already. Yes, they should do. Thank you very much, Meaty Hooks. Bloody Traitor Guard. Right, so we're going for Khorne Corrupted Kassakin. So we all know what Kassakin look like. And the first port of call that I'm going for, let's get this in actual so everyone can see, is back to... So I'm gonna look at this in two ways. I'm gonna do the first one. I like how we talk about Khorne and Farsight pops up. Let's talk about Armies of Chaos. Let's talk about World Eaters, and we're gonna go for Jackals. Most straightforward kind of aspect would be these guys as a Kassakin as a base, and then use these guys for any extra bits and bobs that you need. Backpacks, heads especially, even the transfers would work really nicely as well. Yeah, so all these little extra details, the heads, chainswords, anything like that would work really nicely for the Kassakin. That's my straightforward answer, most straightforward opinion. Slightly harder to pull off, I guess, but still possible, is instead of using the Kassakin as a base, you want to do something really kind of out there. I know you just say you like the kit, but if you wanted something a little bit different, let's go to Blades of Khorne. And there are two kits in this that you could use. One of them would be better than the other. So there's Blood Reavers, which probably not as good as the Blood Warriors. But the thing is about Blood Warriors, they're quite expensive. They're quite chunky models. These heads would work really nicely, I think, with Kasrkin. They're a little bit chunky. They're a little bit bigger, but Kasrkin have been scaled up a bit, so maybe they would work. I'm not 100% sure off the top of my head. The reason why I think they might work is because of the 5 Imperial Guard video that I did, the 5 regiments for Imperial Guard. The Slaves to Darkness head works quite well on a generically human-sized body. So I'm guessing these would work well on Kasrkin, which are, again, slightly bigger. So these heads would work quite nice. They're a little bit more in line with Khorne Berserkers, so they would work. But if you're running them as Kasrkin, again, you don't want to be too far out the way with... Let's just type it in. You don't want to be too far out the way with the original look. Actually, that's quite funny how that's popped up. These guys work nicely as well. Some nice bits you could use for that as well. If you wanted maybe a more generic Chaos look and not quite World Eater's Khorne, that's an option. The old guard kits work really well with the Chaos Marauders kit. Yeah, they're kind of a similar. Corpse Grinder Cult, yes. Yankees mentioned it. Thank you very much. Yeah, I did have that in mind when I was thinking, because it's completely forgot. Yeah. Corpse Grinder Cult, there we go. These would work great. His heads are perfect. Yeah, you could even have... I'm not sure that these arms would scale, but these arms probably would. So if you wanted to have a leader that had just kind of no arms, no armor, armored arms, yeah, you can put those on. Probably make use of those. Aeon AGV, sorry, I wrote something by the semi-form. Hopefully you might be able to get to it, Pete. Yeah, so I've probably got another 35 minutes left on the stream. It's, probably not. I'll probably maybe get another 3 or 4 done at a push. Probably, let's say 3 to be on the safe side. Where's my form gone? Let's have a look at the form again. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll read out the names of the next few people that are going to be on here. So I do apologize if you don't get covered. I'll tell you what I'll do. So we've done Icaros. Really straightforward, nice and straightforward on that one. Kasrkin base, just dip into the Jackals or Blood Warriors for extra bits. You'll be surprised what you can do with just a head swap and a few extra like skulls and Citadel skulls naturally. Pop those on. Yeah, don't need to do anything too harsh. You could always scratch up the armor a bit, get some damage and things like that. So yeah, do that. Red. Okay, so who have we got next? So next up we've got Ricky Rose, then David McGrath, Spanish Inquisition, Pesky Siren 509, and my boy Yankee. So we'll tell you what, let's try and get those next 3. I tell you what, because Yankee's done such a great job of moderating the stream, let's do him next. Let's get him in this stream, and then I'll circle back to the other ones. It's a great thing about marking off as red. Okay, cool. It's a Necroma 1, of course it is. I have struggled finding conversion ideas for my Ironhead squats. The main issue being that all the proportions are so unique compared to other dwarf squat ranges. My personal idea was to devote to the Votan. Hang on. My personal idea was to the Votan. I can't tell if you're doing a pun there or not, if it's just a spelling mistake. Pesky Siren 509. The main issue being that all the proportions, so my personal idea was to devote the Votan. I think you have done it on purpose there. You've really thrown me. Just don't match the Ironhead squat one. Mental breakdown. I think I just had a mental breakdown. Okay, I actually did do these guys as... do I have them handy? Do I have them? I can't remember where they ended up. I did have them to hand for a bit because I was working on... One second, let's see. muck. Let's fire up the other camera for a second. Tabletop and face. Wait for the signal. There we go. We've got it. Okay. So this is actually a kill team that I was working on for a while, and I kind of got sidetracked. I was hoping to get it released before the Votan came out, so when the Iron Head squats come out. Iron Hand squats, sorry. So I can offer you some direct advice. So let's see where the focus level is here. Get a microphone in as well. I'm off camera here. I've adjusted all the cameras, so let's fix that. Okay, right. Stand here. There we go. Focus on me. So yes, this is the what I had started. And I tried to use as fewer Votan parts. Well, I couldn't use any Votan parts when it first released. So it's Ironhead Squat Prospectors. And then this is a... What sword is that one from? Oh, it's a Mark... Hang on, what sword is that? I think it's Mark III. It's the Mark III power sword, if I remember rightly. It's actually the perfect height to have as like a... I just took one of the existing arms, I believe, that was holding... What was it holding? Anyway, you'll know if you're familiar with the kit. I was holding that. Added the sword. This guy is the medic. He had a... That's from the Tempest of Scions, and so is that. So he kind of became a medic, and that is from possibly Tempest of Scions still, actually. Quite a lot of these kit components came from that one. Plasma Gunner. Just a plasma gun from the Tempest of Scions, and a spare shoulder pad. Well, a shoulder pad which was made from one of the spare helmet visors. Flamer, same kind of vibe. And then a like a comms. This is from the Skitarii kit, if I remember rightly. So the aerials are from Skitarii, and the little radio section is from Skitarii. I also did some heads, modified the heads. So I basically modified the heads slightly. I'll find them now. So this is one of them. So I kind of did like a fully enclosed helmet. Actually, that's the base kit. I don't know why I'm showing that. So that's the standard one. Where's the one that I modified? Found it. There we go. So if you look at this head here, this is one of the standard heads. Basically, if you look at it, it's actually like that. That's the actual head. But when you place it into one of the torsos, you angle it slightly upwards, and it kind of gives the effect that he's wearing like a fully enclosed helmet. That's a cool little trick. You just have to shave off one of the ridges. So yeah, that's basically the idea that I had with that. Yours is a little bit more devoted, so I don't know if it's quite the same. But yeah, let's go back to Facecam. Hopefully that was okay for you. I couldn't read the comments I was doing, so I was just randomly sharing it and hoping that was everything. Where are we? You want to teach us how to approach the mentality kitbashing, because that's what equips us to do to up our game. Yeah, Devotan. Yeah, so there is always a degree of it is a skill, and the skill isn't having an encyclopedic knowledge of every kit. That just comes from experience. The skill is being able to look at a kit and see what other parts it could be used for. The basic principle is if you have a good idea in mind of what you want to do, you want to kind of flesh it out as much as you can background wise, and that will actually guide you when you're picking which components to use. So if you want to do things like, I don't know, if it's a Khorne army, for example, you know full well what Khorne is. If it's an Imperial Guard army, then you're going to think, okay, well, we want to have something that looks like it started out as an Imperial Guard army, so we want to use equipment from that, but we want to see that they've changed over time, they've adapted. And yeah, you've basically got to kind of come up with a story for them in your head, and that story is what you use to make sense of everything that you're doing in the Kitbash. And then, yeah, you just get an idea of what it is, which is get an idea of how parts work with each other, how you can modify parts. And then the more you do it, the more used to it you get, the more ideas you get. And it's just a matter of practice. But yeah, biggest piece of advice is you don't need to always do loads of kit bashing to make a model very different. A little kit bash and a paint change can make the whole world of difference. And then try to think of a story, a background, and work from that. Don't just stick bits to a model and hope it works, because it very rarely will. Right. So we've got an ad coming in 30 seconds. So what I'll do, I will catch up on the chat, and I'll just get the next one lined up. So hopefully we can run into it straight away. And we've got 25 minutes. We can maybe squeeze a couple more in before the end of the stream. So cool. I will see you guys in a bit. The stream, the ad on my thing is going to run in 5, 4. I don't know if it will. Anyway, I'm just back waffling. Okay, all right. Let's get the next one open. Let's get this up. To find the form again. I keep losing the form. There, got it. So we've done Yankee. Yankee's been covered. And we're next on Ricky Rose. Tiny bones. Decorate my Space Marines with. Interesting. It's an interesting comment. Quite a nice, straightforward, quick one next. Also, if anyone is here and they haven't got any ads at the moment, then either it's because you've supported me with a Prime membership, which I am eternally grateful for, or it's because somehow you're not getting ads on this. Maybe I think if you jumped in the stream more recently, you don't see the ads. I don't know, but yeah. Right, where are we? Let's get this ready. Okay, cool. This one's nice, straightforward. Whilst I do, what I'll do is it's going to be quite straightforward and quick, so I'm going to get the next one ready, have a think about it. Okay. Close Smash, redeemed hydrate. I shall have a drink. This is ideally I tried to get to the whole of this in a stream, but I haven't. There's probably about half left. Right. Okay, we need to get everyone back. I'm ready. As soon as we get back into it, we can start with the next one. Nice and quick. This next one is, so we can probably get at least 2 more done, 3 more done. Thinking about it for the end of the stream. 3, maybe 2. We'll see how long this next one takes. Right, are we back? Yes, we are back. Hello. Hope your ad break was great. Everyone got a chance to go get a drink. That's what everyone does in the ads. That's what everyone used to do when we used to have to watch normal TV and have fast forwarding, pausing, on demand content. Anyway, someone did ask. This will be available as a VOD and it will be saved. I'm going to do is actually, just quickly before I forget, I actually have a separate channel set up. It's called Pete the Wargamer VODs. This is exactly what it says on the tin. I'll share the link here. Basically, oh there, look at that. Yankee's done it. He did it first. Yeah, so basically, anywhere that any of these videos are going to be uploading there as a full video on YouTube. The reason why it's not going on my normal channel is just because of the way that the YouTube algorithm works. If I upload a video that's 3 hours long, and understandably, most people probably won't watch the full 3 hours, YouTube will look at it as being like, oh, well, your content mustn't be very good because someone only watched 10% of it. Even though that 10% is like 20 minutes worth of footage, because it's only 10% of the overall stream, they'll say, well, it's not very good. So I just made it onto a separate channel, keeps it all separate, stops it clogging up the subscriptions for everything else. If you want to watch the VODs afterwards, you can do. Go subscribe. Yeah, cool. Anyway, right, this next suggestion was very, very straightforward, very, very simple, but a really interesting question all the same. So this one's from Ricky Rose, and your topic was tiny bones. Where can I buy, or how can I make tiny bones to decorate my Space Marines with? And you've provided me with an example. I've lost the example. Where's that gone? Okay, got it. Right. Okay, let's get this. Let's get this up. We have. So this is the example that we're using. This is one of the. What was it now? Was it the Emperor's? It was the one that was kind of like that. Sons of the Phoenix. It was the Emperor's Children one that wasn't an Emperor's Children Primaris unit, but it was, because it's like got like Second Legion there, which is Emperor's Children, and then it's all pink, and yeah, look at that as well. Oh, hang on, off stream. There we go. That's simple. So I think they're looking for these bones here, and if I remember rightly, these particular bones are from this kit. Let's get this over here so not everyone's just going to see my face and side profile. This particular kit here. So Age of Sigmar. We're going to go down to Death, Flesh Eater Quartz, and we're going to be looking at these, and we're going to be looking at these. So these guys are most likely where those bones came from. As you can see, there's terrible photos. Terrible photos. You can just about see the bones there. There's a bone in the hand. There's a few little bone details dotted about. Let's have a look at, see if there's anything on Google. So you can see the sprue there. I don't want to go on eBay, thank you. And yeah, you can see all of the bones in the sprue. So this is a 5-man. So if you buy, is there 5 legs in that? There's 10. So if you buy a box, you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You get 6 of those, plus any of these like ones that you can, like these broken ones that you could probably take away if you needed to. So yeah, those are quite straightforward. Nice little bit sorting things. I don't. Also, there's like a cool torso as well. I don't want to reveal too much, but in a few months' time, I say a few months, but it might be a little bit longer. But in a few months' time, there might be a better place to get these from, and it won't be from Games Workshop. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying any more than that. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, I think I missed a few comments then. Right. I can't actually remember where I got to. A question about VODs. I think was Darren from We Paint Minis here. Where? I've completely lost track of where I was. Anyway. Right, okay, Sons of the Phoenix. Yeah, that was it. Done that one. Totally Imperial Fist, yeah. AOS skeletons, yeah, you could use AOS skeletons as well. Not quite as good, the new ones aren't. The old ones are a little bit more generic. If you didn't want to use Games Workshop parts, and because they're quite... I know I'm not on the thing, I'll pop it up in a second. Skeletons... War Games Atlantic. So War Games Atlantic 2 skeleton infantry, and these are just like very generic skeletons. They're kind of like the old. You can see they're quite straightforward skeletons. So these are quite good if you just want to have access to lots of bones. They're like incredibly reasonable as well. 25 quid for what do you get? So you can builds include up to 8. So you get 32 skeleton warriors for £25. So yeah, you get all these bones in there, so you can chop those up however you want. Use them as corpses. Use them as decorations for your Space Marines. Lots of cool stuff that you can do. Okay, right. Face. What have we got next? So that was Tiny Bones. Tick. Next person. This probably be the last one now. And then I'm going to be calling it a day. So if I haven't covered yours, then I will be doing it in the future stream. David McGrath, 140k army. I'm looking to magnetize Mark 6 armor to give my battle company more options. Where should I start? I'm building and painting Horus Heresy 140k Legion of my own design and want to magnetize as much weapon options as possible, including banners. Wow. I mean, I have magnetized in the past. I've not done much in the way of magnetizing recently because it's kind of not as necessary for me because I don't do full armies. I just do one-off builds and things like that. So not having swappable options. So that I know that there are really tiny little 1mm wide magnets that you can get. And let's just bring up the Horus Heresy range. So armies of the Horus Heresy. So if you do Mark 6, it's a good option because you get all of the upgrade sprues. So yeah, you've got all these, and these come with these arms here. So what you could do is you could magnetize these arms, put little magnets in these, put magnets in the torsos when you've completed them. The only problem with that is you will end up with having to buy more shoulder pads, because the problem, I mean, it's cheaper than buying more models, but you will probably have to find yourself some extra shoulder pads, be it from the resin ones or third-party ones from eBay, things like that. And that would allow you to magnetize these heavy weapons. You can see what I mean. Some of these arms would like link up to that. So if you magnetize the arms themselves, you'd have to position the shoulder pad in a way that it wouldn't attach too much. If it made sense, it wouldn't lock into the armor. You'd have to make it so you could remove them. But you could make that a single piece. If you made that built the arms and the shoulder pads a single piece, probably one magnet, maybe two, just for your safe side. You don't even need magnets on both sides. You can put a piece of metal on one side and a magnet on the other, and that will do the job. Right. Have I got any? Pesky Siren 509. I will. Unfortunately, we'll have to wait for the next stream. Do apologies. The Magnet Baron is really good for Mannix. Yes, I agree. I have worked with Magnet Baron before. Actually, I have used their super glue. There you go. Let's show that on the stream. There you go. The Magnet Baron. They do some really nice like starter kits as well. So one of the things that I find really useful, it's in a different cover, so I can't show you. They have polarity sticks. So they're basically blue and red sticks that you can just kind of quickly check to make sure that the polarity is the right way around. So you don't attach the torso piece with the negative and then the other side of the positive, the other side of the negative, and they just stick together. That's the worst thing that can happen when you're magnetizing, which is why quite often I do recommend not doing double magnets for small pieces. You can just put little bits of metal in there, a little bit of wire, and that will do the job normally. So I think that's kind of very straightforward. On a couple of straightforward ones for the last part of the stream there, nice and easy. But yeah, I think it's totally viable, totally straightforward to do. You can easily magnetize those miniatures, especially with all the new weapon options that have been released. You shouldn't have any problems. Space Marines are probably one of the easier armies to magnetize, just because how everything interchanges, and you've got lots of flat surfaces that you can, and chunky surfaces that you can drill into. But yeah, Done. How many did we do in that stream? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 in 3 hours. So that's just over 10 minutes per stream. And how? Let's see how many I've got overall. So I did 15 in 3 hours. Let's see. Oh wow, I've got 40 altogether. There's 40 submissions. And I did. Oh no, hang on. I did a little bit less. I did 16. I did 16 in that stream. So I'll need to do at least 2 more streams to get everything done, provided no one else submits. So we did do a couple of bonus ones. We did one for Broadsword Wargaming, and we did a couple of quick ones. So yeah, that's not bad going. I think that's pretty good. And yeah, I'm really pleased that everyone did seem to enjoy that. We seem to get similar numbers to when I was painting and converting as well. So there will be more painting and converting on the streams. But yeah, if you guys enjoy this, we'll do more. As long as people need advice, I'm happy to do them. It's a bit more of a chilled out stream. I can chat a bit more. Don't have to spend as much time. The more thing, when is the next conversion advice stream? Should we say next Wednesday? A week from now? Maybe on Sunday I can do some Raptors. How's that sound? We'll see. Pete, do you want me to do a small? Yeah, let's do a poll. Let's put in another conversion clinic, a Kitbash clinic with a K. Sorry, and let's do either a Raptors painting or a Raptors conversion. That's probably what it's going to be. So yeah, did I miss any questions? Okay, so we've got last 10 minutes. So if you've got any quick questions that you can ask me, please do so now. This is your final option for getting them in. Okay, so we've got Raptors painting taking the lead so far. Raptors conversion just a little bit behind it. Thanks for putting that poll up, by the way. Paint them Raptors. So I actually continued to build them. The two. I'm not going to bother turning the other camera on now. But yeah, so the. See it on the street. So yeah, so that was the one that I was working on towards the end of the stream. So I carried on with that one. And then I've got another one which I just need to add in a few extra pouches and the torso bar as well. So yeah, that's the. So move back. Is it going to focus? Yeah, there we go. Cool. Yeah, so that'll probably be what I'll paint on their stream. Raptors painting. Yeah, Raptors painting seems to be taking the lead. Yeah, cool. Painting's a little bit more chilled out, I guess, because I'm not having to worry about holding a scalpel in a way which isn't going to slice my fingers. Corn Farsight, yeah. I'm actually gonna just quickly. Someone did a really nice Corn Farsight conversion. It's not how I would go. It's not the direction I take it in, so I don't mind kind of showing the image. Someone did some artwork. I don't know who did it because it's just on. I haven't seen the original one. I've just seen what other people have posted. So this one's on Reddit. Firefox and face. So yeah, that's the kind of the image that I've seen of Corn Farsight when I've looked, which is very much more like a mutated version. It's kind of grown into his armor, so to speak. Quite an interesting take. But yeah, so the kind of idea that I was going for. I mean, that's. I think it's a really decent rendering, and I think it would make a cool miniature as well. But the only thing personally, it seems to me like it's gone down like, oh well, that's just how a human would be converted, if that makes sense. If a human falls to chaos, that's what they look like. They look mutated. And I don't know if I would want to do Tau that way. I would maybe want, if I did a Corn Corrupted Farsight, one of the things I would probably do is I'd probably keep him very similar to what he is already, but have him so that the blade is almost corrupting the arm as it's going up. And there's an idea in my head. It was something similar to a film or a game, something like that. Raptors painting. So we're going to do some Raptors painting on Sunday, and we'll do another one of these streams next Wednesday. We'll type that in for next Wednesday. Yeah, so I think that's the thing which I would go for with that one personally. It was cool. It's a cool image. It's pretty cool. I like it. It would look cool as a mini, but it's just not the direction I'll go. I watch the Raptors kill team videos at least once a month. I do appreciate it. It's probably why they keep popping up in my feeds as getting views. So I do appreciate that. It was really annoying with that kill team because I spent a while working on it and coming up with ideas for an interesting kill team so that it would make sense with having disparate units. And Games Workshop were like, oh wow, do you want we will feature it on a Warhammer community article, and they did. I sent them some pictures, they put it on there, did a really nice article about them, and then literally a month later they were like, okay, yeah, but we're gonna completely change the kill team rules and your kill team is no longer usable in the new rules, which is great. Ironically, the new Deathwatch rules for 10th edition actually has a Proteus kill team, I think, which is actually more closely aligned. It's like a Fortis kill team and a Proteus kill team. The Fortis one is kind of a Primaris one, I think. And that has like a mix of units, and that's probably closer to my Raptors kill team than actual Space Marines in kill team is, which is annoying. But yeah. I wish I could watch Necromunda videos once a month, but there are barely any. I believe there is a short. You can watch that once a month. You could watch that like in 60 seconds once a month. Okay, whilst I'm thinking about it, let's see if there's anyone who's currently streaming we can maybe raid after the stream. Anyone who's on there. Right, who is streaming Warhammer that I know? If not, we can go with someone else. I can hear someone's voice. Just turn my headphones off. Has anyone got any recommendations? No one's jumping out at me. If anyone has any recommendations for anyone who's doing Warhammer streaming at the moment who you think could be fun to join in, let me know. But yeah, thanks Yankee. Thanks for modding the stream, much appreciated. I will see you on Sunday. No one watches online regular right now. Yeah, we can just jump in with some random person. We can say hi maybe, or we can just leave it there. Cool. Right. We'll call it a day then. Thank you very much for everyone who joined. Thank you very much who submitted. The form will The form will stay available. If you go onto my YouTube community page, it's on there. If you didn't get a chance to be submitted in this one, if you've already submitted, I'll probably get to you in the next 1 or 2 weeks, hopefully. If not, then I will maybe just like a bit of a rapid fire one just to get through them if we start getting a lot of suggestions come through. AC Miniatures popped up as someone who's your miniatures watch, but you've never watched them. Okay, maybe we'll jump in. We'll jump in with them as well. Might as well. Cool. Thank you very much, everyone. I will see you in the next stream on Sunday. We'll be painting some Raptors. I'll make sure I'm all prepped for that. And yeah, thank you very much for everyone. And I will see you later on. Bye.